Coming to you from J.P. Stevens High School here in Edison, New Jersey. Hello, everybody. We have Jersey Sharks football action courtesy of the League of All Leagues as we have this late season matchup between the Jersey Sharks and the Northeast Philly Red Panthers. Glad you can join us today. I'm Tom Wilkins. Rich Harrigan's with me today, and Howard Gaber, of course, taking care of the controls. First of all, thanks everybody for waiting. We just had a slight delay on a couple of things, but we're going to be getting underway shortly. But Rich, looks like the Jersey Sharks, they played pretty well here in this league this year, and now looking to get final tests in before they get set up for some late playoff action.
Yeah, it's going to be a good test for them tonight again, that they can keep their winning streak going. This is one of these games where they know they know the opponent well, and these guys played against each other before, so this should be a good match today.
I think it will as well, and they just had the coin toss just a second ago. You'll notice the Panthers, they are in their white uniforms with red numerals and white helmets. The Jersey Sharks, they will be in their dark helmets, but all blues pretty much with little red trim and mostly silver numerals. So for Lou Moore and company, I think this is a pretty good dress rehearsal for them. As I would say with they always say strength in numbers is a very important thing in football, but you can see if the Red Panthers can keep this a close game, then the fourth quarter is going to be how much do they have left in the tank. You have to consider with them having, I believe, 20 people on their side of the field, some will probably be playing both sides of the ball today.
Well, let's actually change that to 3 ways today because they got to get the special teams in too. So I think it'll be. The bottom line is they'll probably start out pretty strong because you can only put 11 on the field, and the fact remains that it's 11 against 11 still. So that first couple of plays will probably be good, but eventually it might show some wear and tear by the fourth quarter. We'll see if their endurance is there all throughout the game.
When you have a nearly 3-hour game of football, obviously it's a matter of when do you conserve, when do you go all out. There's just a lot of things that each individual player has to deal with. Now, Rich, knowing your football, I mean, when you're a player having to deal with all this, I mean, what do you try and tell them?
Well, I can tell you this much. With my Tri-State Warriors team this year, we had that problem. We started out with 35. We ended up with like just 20 or 19. The main thing is they need to stay in shape during this week before the game. They need to stay eating well, drinking well, and conserve their energy during the week. It's very important to understand that.
Well, just think about this. The Northeast Philly Red Panthers may have 20 players on the far sideline, but please understand we're going to be starting the game with 4 officials. We understand, unfortunately, we've had officiating crews that have been dealing with some bad luck and accidents and stuff like that, or the Uber lifts have been very untrustworthy. Who knows? But the one thing is for sure, it's got to be. Might as well play with what you have. And Rich, have you dealt with situations before when you've had basically 4 corner referees?
I've actually played games or coached games when there were 3 referees. And we even offered to have one of my staff be to be a ref if needed. But to tell you the truth, it can be done. The whistles don't blow as much, believe it or not. There's the action moves faster than you think actually when there's less referees.
Well, and also
I guess there's a silver lining somewhere in there.
I agree, but at the same time, I was just about to point out probably fewer penalties as well.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Because I'm sure for the officials' sake, they're like, you know what, let's get through this, and we'll call the obvious ones, and we'll just deal with it the way that we deal with it the best way possible. If it's a close game, then we just got to sharpen the eyesight a bit.
I definitely agree. And we're going to get underway here, Tom.
Yes, indeed. The Red Panthers, they won the toss. They decided to receive to begin things. They're moving left to right, the Sharks right to left. We'll switch sides during the second quarter, and we are now underway here from Edison and J.P. Stevens High School, as well as taking about the 15-yard line. Oh, he pump fakes, and he's got an opening, crossing the 40, and fumbling a football, but one of the Red Panthers fell on it at about the 48-yard line.
That was Saran Banks on that return there.
And a good job on the recovery on the part of Dwayne Hill out of West Catholic Prep. And unfortunately for Hill, he might have been a little shaken up after the fumble.
Well, Tom, I got to tell you, that was an exciting play to start the game off after this long delay. I forgot already that we were waiting this long. That was a great way to start. They're right near midfield, and he actually almost broke it.
Actually, a 46-minute delay to start things. And it's funny because Howard's cracking up because usually for baseball we say how long rain delays were, and here it was just a 46-minute on-field delay for whatever the reason it was.
Well, it's ironic that he got stopped at the 46-yard line. There you go.
Well, of sheer irony, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the ball is going to be closer to the 47, and it'll be 1st and 10 for the Red Panthers there to begin the ball game.
Single back, they look like, Tom.
And they go spread. Here's a throw right. Good catch. Oh, missed tackle, crossing the 40 rather, to the 37-yard line.
Tom, I think we know that number 8, Saron Banks, is their go-to guy. He's a kickoff returner, gets the first pass, and he gets about 15, 20 yards. This guy is lightning quick. They better have something for him today.
Well, the Sharks are going to have to prepare for him because if he gets the bulk of things on the opening drive or two, the Sharks are going to try and put a spy on him to try and adjust and force their quarterback to try and find other people to get the ball.
Absolutely.
They go pro set again on 1st and 10. Here's the handoff down to about the 36 as the hole closed very quickly. Once again, it was Saron Banks. And a good tackle on the part of Amir Cooper from Lackawanna.
Excellent run, but closed quickly by the defense. Good job by the Sharks. They look like they're in a 4-3, and they have good pressure up front. Number 6 is very stout and very strong. He'll be hard to move. Trust me.
Well, that's usually what happens when you're stout, and they probably could send somebody about the same size, and it would probably be a draw in that case.
And that's Justin Hayes I was talking about. Sorry about that.
That's all right. 2nd and 9, same formation as before. Ball is spotted at the 36-yard line. Quarterback looking every place over. He's back to pass. He's going to lob left. That pass is caught, crossing the 35. And going to about the 33. So about a 3-yard pickup that time.
Good catch. He broke the first tackle. Well,
taking a little while.
I think that was number 82 on the catch there, Tom.
Wangi Sekou from Virginia University was able to make that grab. It was a 3-yard pickup.
Yeah. Sorry to help you out there, Tom. I had the Sharks roster in front of me first. Correction, 88 on that, Tom.
But we don't have an 88 on the Red Panthers.
That's all right. He's on the field. I think that counts. So we're good.
Well, it'll be last-second uniform changes too. All right, 3rd and 6, back to pass, and running to his left and firing just a little bit over the head and incomplete.
And he had number 2 wide open deep.
Christian St. George at Frankfurt High School. Actually, it was a little bit high over his head. That would have been a tough catch.
Well, he had number 7. Correction, wide open down by the goal line. Had a chance to look, but he took off first, and then he saw his wide receiver on the left open real quick. He didn't have a chance to see downfield, obviously. So it's 4th and 6. We'll see what they come up with there.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if they do go for it on 4th down. And I don't see a kicker, so they are going to give it a shot here. They're gonna spread out.
I think Banks is the man. So Ron Banks, number 8, you should look for him. He's a slot inside. There's nobody covering. There's outside linebacker backed up. It's about 7 yards. He's going in motion.
Well, let's see what he does. Whoop, hold on a sec. We got a flag and a false start against the Panthers.
Interesting, because the play they were going to run, he ran in motion. They were going to do a wheel route off the left side, and I think he would have broke the zone and he would have been open downfield because they were looking for the short receivers, the short routes from the receivers to try to get the first down, and they were going to look like they were going to spring Banks deep. That would have been interesting, but it didn't happen. So,
well, in the meantime, it's going to be 4th and 11. The ball is going to be at the 38 of the Sharks. Keep in mind the Panthers have very nice pass play, and they've been trying to move forward in this drive, but unfortunately they got stuck in neutral. They will go for it again on a spread.
A single back there. He get a little bit of protection, hopefully.
It's a
Quick
a
kick.
pooch punt and caught on a
Caught
line
on the
drive
line
at the 21-yard line, breaking through a tackle and going to about the 30,
Keeping
still
his feet.
going. And then losing a helmet somewhere.
Looks like
Probably going to be at the 36-yard line.
Darrell Kennedy Jr. Great job.
The veteran himself, Darrell Kennedy, comes through. He was very alert. They went with the surprise pooch punt, and Kennedy was there to catch it on the fly.
Well, they got a surprise return, it looked like, too, to go with it.
You know,
great catch on the run. Wow.
Almost the equivalent of the Panthers turning the ball over on downs when it came to field position.
Or like it was the equivalent of him throwing an interception.
So. But Darrell Kennedy's dad. And I'd like to ask that question about him because we see Darrell Kennedy Jr., but of course there's also Senior that's involved. If you mentioned something.
Yeah, you want to give me some? Oh, he was high school. He was a recent high school star, right? He was local, I think in Plainfield, was it right?
Might have been. And keep in mind, not too far away from here at Seidler Field in Plainfield, New Jersey, Kennedy Senior, of course, ended up winning championships for the Wolves.
Yeah, I remember him. He was heavily recruited by Rutgers, as a matter of fact.
All right, so now the Sharks, end up getting the their first possession of the game as Emmanuel Cabasa throws one and it's caught at about the, I'd say the 47-yard line. That is Tyreek Coaxon. No, it's not Tyreek Coaxon. That's actually Naquan Walker from NCCU. Was able to bring that down. And about a yard short of a first down, they did not give him forward progress.
He ran a 6-yard hitch. It was a beautiful route, and he gained 2 yards on it. What a great place to be, 2nd and 1. You can go deep on this one if you want.
You can do whatever you want, even try and run the ball here. And that's what they do. Bouncing again to about the 49, maybe the midfield stripe, but that's good enough for a Sharks first down. And it ends up being another, if we're talking about veterans, here's one for the books, Raheem Ridley. And he played with Darrell Kennedy, Senior and Junior.
There you go. I don't know if I would have ran on that last play. I would have play action into a deep ones.
Well, it sets him up for a new set of downs. Cabasa in a rush, but the pass ends up being caught. And there's, I believe, Walker again, and I thought they were yelling ball, but forward progress is going to get him to the 47 of the Panthers for a gain of 4.
So we know there's a game plan right now for the Sharks coming out. They're hitting quick routes, all the quick routes. They're hitting the hitch underneath. They're probably going to go slant at some point to keep the defense off guard and to move the ball quickly. So the quarterback doesn't need that much protection back there. He's getting the ball quickly out of his hands. I love the play calling. It's how you should start a game out because eventually you're going to play action and you're going to pump fake. You're going to hit them deep.
Well, it's a matter of feeling your opponent out on both sides of the ball and seeing what they do, and that's usually what the opening drives pretty much tell. Let's see what happens on 2nd and 6 as basically...
You got a free play. No.
No, that 4 people crossed the line. They crossed the line before the ball was even snapped, so obviously we call it the unabated play. So
I just felt that the referee's whistle was so late, so I thought they were going to let it play out, but obviously definitely unabated and automatic first. I mean, nope, not automatic first down. They're just short still.
Yeah, about 5-yard penalty will make it 2nd and 1 as the ball is going to be spotted at the Panther 42-yard line.
What I noticed is the Panthers defense, they're also running a 4-3. They have their outside linebackers or DNs very wide, what we call a 9 wide. So that's interesting that they're trying to protect the edge. So the linebackers will have to fill inside them if they're gonna have any kind of progress.
And that's a term that we've been hearing a lot more, especially over the last decade, 9 wide. We'll get to that momentarily. As Cabasa's between split backs here on 2nd and a yard. They hand it to Ridley. Ridley will get to about the 40. That'll be good enough for a first down. The Sharks move the chains.
Patient run.
Now, you mentioned 9 wide. Can kind of put a little bit more detail into what that actually entails.
Well, the defense has they have alignments, and with their alignment comes an assignment. The alignment is that they're wide. The assignment is that they're in the 9 gap. Okay, that they have to pursue from that area. You have 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 2, 4, 6, 8. But in this case, 9 wide would be that they're out as far as they can be.
All right, so 1st and 10 from the Panther 40-yard line. Cabasa again to shotgun where he usually is. A little bit of a low snap. They're going to screen this one. Taking about the 40 and not much further. Maybe got a yard to the 39. That was Devon Bletcher out of Bloomfield College with the catch. He had to scramble around. He was lucky to get a yard on that.
Yeah, I think they were hoping he would be able to break the tackle from the first defender. He had no blockers out there at all, so I think they trusted him to be one-on-one. But good job on the cornerback, keeping him in front of him and making a great tackle to the cavalry came.
All right, so it is 2nd, and actually they're not going to give him the yard. They say no gain on the play. So tough spot there. 2nd and 10 now for the Sharks. Their opening drive of this game, here from J.P. Stevens High School, league action.
You got the slot receiver towards us, closest to us, wide open. Nobody over him.
And Cabasa is going to go for a home run ball. He's got a man. It is caught, and it's welcome to the end zone. Lance Fisher with the grab. I mean, that was a perfect pass from
Excellent.
Emmanuel Cabasa. 40-yard strike, and the Sharks come through first.
Man, I tell you one thing, Tom. This is how they set him up. They kept running the 2 hitch routes, and number 9, who was running the hitch route on that one, the defenders actually peeked in the backfield for it, and that's why the receiver ran right by him. And that was a good play call, a good strategy by the Sharks to set that play up.
And nicely done by Cabasa. I mean, he's played on so many teams, has so much experience, and of course, he is basically the lead vehicle for this Sharks team, whether they have championship success. There are a lot of veterans on this team. They still haven't quite together come through at a championship, and here, this might be their best shot, especially with the way they started this opening drive.
I love it. I love it. It's absolutely good coaching, good scouting, and good execution.
Well, we have a penalty flag down, and it looks like the Sharks are going to get hit with an illegal sub foul. So, they end up having 12 people on the field. That does not help, so that backs it up 5 yards, and we'll do the extra point, and it'll be a 38-yard extra point.
You know, usually special teams at this level, you have less people out there because nobody wants to play special teams. Now they have too many men out there.
Well, if nobody wants to be out there, then why do they call it special teams?
Maybe that's why.
Maybe they're not as special as you think it might be.
Exactly.
And, oh, my Lord, extra point ends up being well short, but clearly it looked like the Panthers jumped offside on the extra point, and they say no, it is no good.
This is where not having 5 refs makes the difference, or 6 refs makes the difference.
Yeah, let's look at the replay here, and you'll see. We'll see the replay on that touchdown pass to Lance Fisher, and you can go ahead and describe, Rich, exactly what happened and see where.
Yes, so Fisher is wide left. He's out by the 40, and you got number 9, who's the slot who I was talking about earlier. There's nobody covering him. If you look at the corner, he's already looking inside already, and Fisher's gone. And number 9 runs underneath, and number 23 just runs right by him because the corner was anticipating the short route, and he didn't get it.
So with the extra point no good, 6-0 in favor of the Sharks of the Panthers. Of course, Jersey Sharks football presented by Edison Heating and Cooling, who's able to provide you with seasoned technicians that have been expertly trained to inspect and repair any HVAC system in the Edison area. Get more information from them, call 732-372-4957. You can also email them, info@edisonhvac.com.
Well, exciting first drive for the Sharks. We'll see if the Panthers can respond.
Well, put it this way, the Panthers got away and kind of saved the point on the extra point, but let's see how this team decides to describe things. Now, keep in mind, folks, official time is kept on the field. One thing we forgot to bring up at the very beginning.
We got Jacob Hedner ready to kick for the Sharks, number 52.
Well, of course, Jacob Hedner has been around for a good while. He approaches the tee, and they're going to go with the onside kick, and everyone's falling away from the ball. And did the Sharks get it? I don't know where there were no Panthers around for
they
that
weren't expecting it.
And it is Sharks football. Shall we say circa 2020 Atlanta Falcons against the Cowboys? Nobody wanted to touch the ball on the onside kick?
Wow. Or the Green Bay Seattle game. And number 17 was on the recovery by the way.
Justin Sanders made the onside recovery, so a little bit of a surprise there. And I'm sure the Panthers were not expecting this, but I'm sure Lou Moore and company know that given the circumstance, you might as well keep pushing away. And what do you know? Sharks get the ball back at the 47. And put it this way, when you do something like this, that's good practice, especially for the playoffs.
Well, and that's a fact, and it showed that they've been working on that in practice, which most teams at this level don't really have the time in practice to go over these things. So I give credit to the Sharks again. That was a great call, but they almost looked like they weren't ready to pick it up either, though. That ball was bouncing around for a while there.
Well, once it's 10 yards past the line of scrimmage, it's a live ball. So for the Sharks, they managed to come through. Now their own 47, Cabasa in the shotgun, back to his left.
Like the Panthers are bringing some pressure. We got 5
I think the right side of the offensive line needed to get together also. Well, let's see what happens here. Is a low snap. Cabasa throws at the pike. That pass is caught. That could be a big gainer. 25, 24-yard line.
Excellent.
That was
number 9.
That looks like Paul Ioannidis from Ohio State.
It's tight end. Great job.
Has a great grab. And ends up being a huge gain, a 29, all the way to 24-yard line of the Panthers, and the Sharks are in business again, 1st and 10.
They just set it up from the left, from the touchdown. He had nobody covering him. Instead of going outside or a hitch, he bent it inside for a little quick post, wide open. Great call.
69 yards passing in the last 2 plays for Cabasa. Another low snap. Here's Ridley with the carry, and that he's going to fight his way across to about the 20, and he pushes the pile all the way to maybe the 19. They're going to give him the 20. So a 4-yard pickup for Raheem Ridley, the veteran, and forcing a 2nd and 6.
Well, the rule in football that I've always been taught, and I've always taught, is the first man tries to grabs the guy. The second man tried to strip the ball. In this case, the Panthers did it the reverse. The first guy up was trying to get a strip rather than make a tackle, and that's why 23 Walker was able to keep his feet moving, and 29 Ridley was able to keep his feet moving, and now they got more yards.
And Ridley stands to the left of Cabasa, 2 cagey veterans to say the least. Here they'll have it 2nd and 6 and a 20. Here's a ground ball, and Cabasa has the fall on it. So keep in mind, Raheem Ridley, he played for Rutgers and a legendary semi-pro team in the Central Penn Piranha for a good number of years. The Lehigh Valley Storm. And I mean, lots of semi-pro teams Ridley has been around. I mean, pretty much, if we do a game, Ridley's probably playing in it.
I would say Ridley loves football. Real simple. Pretty simple. I think he loves football. Well, that's it. Eats, sleeps, and drinks it. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll tell you one day, he definitely keeps himself in great shape for all the hits that he's taken throughout the years. So after a 6-yard loss following a rough snap, and I think that's something Cabasa and the center got to work on, 3rd and 12 from the 26, and somebody jumps. It was not a free play. It was blown dead. And they're gonna call neutral zone infraction against the Panthers, so that is a 5-yard penalty.
Yeah, the Panthers are just getting off to a tough start defensively. They're not. They seem to be not in sync with what they're actually calling. What I mean by that is some of the guys are doing what they want to do and not what their responsibilities call for, not what their assignments are. They're worried about the count, trying to make the quarterback jump, and they're actually jumping themselves. Focus on your job. Do your job, get to your lane, get to your assignment, and get to the ball.
And you mentioned this partially, too. Is it possible Cabasa is given a hard count and has thrown to your right side of the defensive line for a little tizzy?
That's a given, definitely. And this is what I'm saying. These guys are worried about that. They're worried about the snap count rather than worrying about the ball being snapped.
All right, so now 3rd and 7. That changes things for the Sharks. Ball to 21-yard line. Good snap this time, but they're under a rush, and Cabasa going to throw an interception and taken by the Panthers. It looks like that is still run with a football, Jalen Sutton, and he goes all the way down to the 35-yard line.
Yeah,
they may give him the 36, but that looked like an ill-advised pass by Cabasa.
No, definitely.
And Fisher ends up tackling for the first turnover of the game. First turnover of the game for the Sharks. And it looks like the Panthers, they will finally get the ball back, and they dodge the onside kick that the Sharks recover.
Absolutely. Jalen Sutton.
Why don't we look at the replay real quick?
Yeah, sure. I was going to say that Jalen Sutton, it seemed that, in my view, benefited from the pass rush that was on the quarterback, why the quarterback had a hard time getting the ball out sooner.
As you can see here real fast, he'll take, and that was a much better snap.
Get pressure right here.
Yeah, the pressure kind of caused, and they went in the direction of Lance Fisher, but it was well over his head.
And he was stepping right and trying to throw to the left. That's not good.
Well, Cabasa has done that all throughout his career. Here's a handoff on first down, bouncing off one tackle. Not much.
Wow. Number 3 was on that one.
Harold Kennedy Jr. The run, by the way, was John Harris out of Southern Virginia, who came through and he ends up losing a yard.
Yeah, there was a little daylight out there for a second, but Mr. Kennedy Jr. shut it down quickly. Excellent tackle, excellent angle to the ball carrier, and that's the result. But I really think now it's time for the Panthers to answer to to respond. They, like you said, they dodged the bullet off the onside kick. They have a chance now to try to tie this game up or take the lead.
Usually from all the plays that the Panthers have, it's always from the spread formation. The only nuance is whether their back is to the left or the right of the quarterback.
They got to look for Banks here on the outside somewhere.
Well, going back to pass, and a good throw, and that's intercepted. So much for that being a good throw. Coming the other way is Quate Nesmith of Monroe College.
Excellent play.
And he gets the interception back for Jersey, and the Sharks force the turnover on the Panthers and go back to business.
Well, if it wasn't for number 19...
take a look at the replay. We'll show how this interception took place.
Well, I was hoping that they were going to go to Banks, number 8, the slot receiver down here closer to us, because he was doing an out route and he was wide open. But it looked like the quarterback was trying to get to the slot from the other side, who was doing a bend across the middle, and he wasn't even looking for the ball. First of all, he was running the route, not looking for the ball, and he wasn't open either. So I think the quarterback just anticipated wrong.
And it's possible it might have been miscommunication. That was probably intended for Banks, but he turned one way, the ball went another, and went into the hands of a Shark. So there's a distinct possibility of that as
always.
Well. But anyway, on 1st and 10, here's a handoff. Oh, boy. That time that was number 27, Kayan Childress.
And that was 88 on defense.
Whoever it is, I would think it was a Jihad McDonald. We'll try and figure this out anyway.
Yeah, it was number 88 on the field, but that's 88.
That would be 82, and that would be Jihad McDonald from Upper Darby. So good close-up on the part of Howard, making sure we get concise numerology.
Well, there's also 282s on our roster, too. So,
well, we have multiple numbers here. But anyway, after the big loss, 2nd and 15, back to pass. Cabasa ends up firing. The pass is caught and well brought down by Paul Ioannidis. And I'll tell you what, the quarterback was nearly destroyed on the blind side. He just got off in the nick of time.
He kept his composure. That was great. But number 29, Antoine Saunders, came up and made a good tackle because 9 actually broke the first tackle. And Saunders came in and filled up the gap there.
And it ends up being a gain of 7. So now the Sharks back at the 35-yard line. It's 3rd and 8. But I'll tell you what, this Red Panther defense, they definitely have shown some signs of life here.
Well, this is the big down here. If they can get a stop here and keep them from getting them down, this is great. This would be fantastic.
I totally agree. I mean, obviously we want to see what develops. But here on 3rd and 8, Cabasa again, a shotgun. He'll take it. They're coming again. Now Cabasa rolling left. He's trying to direct traffic flows off his back foot and decides, never mind, I'll throw it to a cameraman that's standing somewhere out of bounds. Looks like the famous Larry Washington standing outside. Oh, he's a photographer, but it's incomplete. He was not.
He's still famous. He's a famous photographer.
Because we mentioned him. So it ends up being 4th and 8. So I would have to think this is go for a territory for the Sharks. I mean, obviously there's no punter, and I do not think that Hetner is going to be kicking a 52-yard field goal.
Well, you got to look at it from this point of view also, that they have a lead. They're moving the ball somewhat. The Panthers offense hasn't shown much. So so the fact remains that even if they do get stopped here, they have confidence in their defense to stop the Panthers.
And the Sharks have called a timeout. So why don't we break here late here in the first quarter? Sharks leading the Panthers 6-0. Come back in just a moment.
Is your indoor air working properly? Edison Heating and Cooling is your neighborhood's trusted professional since 1987. Just give a call and a trained comfort advisor will meet with you, do a full inspection, and discuss your options from repair to upgrading to a new high-efficiency system that could save you up to 61% of your energy bill. Our fully trained technicians install and service all systems, including premier Carrier products for both residential and commercial customers. All day, every day, count on Edison Heating and Cooling.
By the way, Jersey Sharks football also presented by Edison Township Police here from the Township of Edison. And, of course, many thanks to them on keeping, of course, their community safe. Of course, for more details on the police, 732-287-0900 is their number. So it is 4th and 8 now for the Sharks as the ball is at the 35-yard line. Obviously, they're going to go for it here as Kavasa wants to make sure everyone's in the right place, which is probably why Lumar wanted that timeout.
Well, they're too deep. There's nobody in the middle. There's no safety in the middle of the field. Both safeties are deep wide on the outside off of the hash marks.
And now flags are down as somebody jumped along the side. So we'll see what this is all about.
That could be crucial if it's on the Panthers. It's going to change the play call for the Sharks.
They've done that a couple of times in this first quarter already. Now, the Panthers are saying, no, it should be on the Sharks. They drew us off. But it is not. It is on the Panthers. So a 5-yard penalty, and suddenly a 4th and 8 is now a 4th and 3. And that changes things dramatically now for the Sharks.
It'll be interesting to see what the call will be now. They might run a few more short routes here. Might run a short route here. I doubt that they run the ball. So I'm looking for 9 or 20 to get a short route.
And that's what you want to try and do. I mean, you could see a bubble screen. You could see a couple of things there. Maybe a slant. But let's see what the call is.
Yeah, they're not covering these slot receivers at all. These guys are open. They should be open once they get 3 yards down the field.
They spread out and back to the right again. 4th and 3 from the 30. Here's Kavasa.
Boom, there you go.
A quick throw. And the pass ends up being through the hands and incomplete. It went through the hands of Fisher. And a tough break there because now the Sharks turned the ball over on downs on the final play of the first quarter.
I'm sorry, Tom, but
tell you what, why don't we break here? 6-0, Sharks over the Panthers after 1. We'll come back for the second quarter in a moment.
If you slip and fall or trip and fall on someone else's property, the first thing you should do is immediately contact an attorney. The site of the incident must be investigated. If there are witnesses, statements need to be taken. We here at Lombardi & Lombardi have a full-time investigator that goes out to the scene of the accident, takes all necessary measurements and photographs, and draws a diagram as to the exact location of your fall. So if you've been involved in a slip and fall or trip and fall on someone else's property, it's important that you contact the law offices of Lombardi & Lombardi immediately, and we'll be happy to give you a free consultation to discuss your claim.
One other thing for Lombardi & Lombardi locally, they're located at 1862 Oak Tree Road in Edison. For, again, the local phone number for them, 732-906-1500. That's one thing we wanted to list on there as an add-on to that commercial. Yeah. But anyway, we're starting the second quarter, and Rich?
Yeah, I wanted to add that I think that last play, Kavasa read the defense totally wrong. He was geared on one receiver when he had another receiver wide open. You got to understand the down and distance. So he had 3 yards to go, and he chose to go 8 or 9 yards. Bad decision.
All right, so 1st and 10 from the 29-yard line. Here's a throw to the right, and it's caught, and looks like that 8 guy again, Saran Banks, and he crosses the 35, maybe about the 36 for a gain of 7. I believe the quarterback for the Panthers is a guy named Davis. Actually, it's 18, I beg your pardon, and that could be the same guy, but there's no 18 listed. But we'll just say the quarterback for all sake, and ends up being 2nd and 3.
He's got a catchy name, no doubt. So I can tell you right now, I'm impressed still. He knows who his go-to guy is. The bank is open here in Edison at J.P. Stevens. He is catching everything that's thrown to him, and he is their man. If they don't get the ball to him more, they're not going to get even. They're not going to sniff this end zone. I'm going to predict it right now.
Well, we'll find out. As it's 2nd and 3, they send, it looks like a tight end in motion, and unfortunately, the tight end also went forward before the snap.
Yeah.
So let's just say that's a false start, and that's going to be a 5-yard penalty. More like illegal motion. Whatever it is going to be a 5-yard penalty.
Yeah, it's a shame because it looks like the play was actually well designed. They would have outnumbered the Sharks on that side with that motion guy, but it also looked like a play that they probably just put in the playbook this week, or they just worked on this week, and the timing was off because of the snap. So,
and sometimes that usually is the case, and it's also possible they may not have worked on that play much in practice, so they decided to throw it in there and see what happens. But unfortunately, somebody went forward, and that caused the false start.
Yeah, it definitely could be something that the coach saw during the game, right before the play, and he saw something where they can outnumber them with 4 against 3 in blocking, and just made the adjustment right there. But again, you have to execute it. No penalties. You have to have a good snap, and none of that happened for them.
All right, so the Panthers, they break out of the huddle here in the second quarter with the Sharks ahead 6-0. Remember, official time kept on the field. Ball spot at the 31. And as usual, they'll do the spread out. Quarterback awaits the snap, takes in, throws short, and that pass ends up being incomplete. I guess that was in for Saku, but couldn't come through with it. Ends up being incomplete.
Great call. Why? That's the pass I was looking for on 4th down. That was the one I'm looking for from the Sharks. But that's the one that the Panthers did. But again, you have to execute. You got to catch that. That's a catchable ball. Great throw by the quarterback. You can't be worried about getting hit. You got to catch the ball.
It's also possible. I don't know if it was Frey's nerves or if he was just out of position when the ball came out. And maybe the receiver was just it happened a little too early. I was like, whoop, way back, I get this, and just couldn't quite bring it down. But one never knows.
I want to keep it simple. He's got butterfingers on that one, buddy.
All right. Well, on 3rd and 8 from the 31-yard line, back to pass, looking, rolling right. He might run this one. He does, and he is pulled by his jersey out of bounds from maybe a yard. And I believe that was Herman Pimentel of Monmouth University.
Yeah, number 13.
Was able to pull him down, and I tell you, once again, that 5-yard penalty. And here's the interesting thing about Herman Pimentel, rather. I can't pronounce this right, but he played tight end for Monmouth University.
Wow.
And I believe they were also Hawks, if I'm not mistaken.
Excellent. Well, he definitely he had great angle pursuit on that one. He kept the quarterback from getting inside, and his range was fantastic.
Remember, size always matters when it comes to football, and especially in key positions that are necessary.
I'm glad you made that assertion. Very good.
Well, I'm not trying to state the obvious as I always do, but in any case, the Panthers are going to punt. And speaking of Darrell Kennedy Jr., he's standing at about the 42-yard line looking on the return.
Oh.
But the punt, oh my goodness. It was fielded by somebody along the Sharks sideline about the 36-yard line. And that ends up being a 4-yard punt.
I actually didn't think it was going to go that far from the way it looked.
Well, the kicker's number 7. His name is Blessing Harris.
Yeah,
and
I'll leave that one alone. I'll leave that one alone.
But unfortunately there, it ends up being a punt off the side of his foot. And the Sharks, with a very big possession here.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Tom, you know we've said it before. I'm going to say to my man with the blessings, thank you very much.
That's what the Sharks are saying. But anyway, 1st and 10 for the Sharks at the 37-yard line. Already with a 6-0 lead and looking for more. Each team has turned the ball over once so far. And you gotta keep in mind here. I mean, this is a closer game than people have actually. For a lot of people thought it was going to be, but these Panthers have come to play.
Yeah, definitely. The Sharks are keeping the Panthers around. That's why they have an opportunity here to really move the ball and get downfield. They got a couple first downs, but they have to get down to the end zone and get a chance to score here.
All right, Cabasa in a shotgun this time between split backs. And he'll take it looking. He's going to go with a home run ball. And it is over the shoulder and incomplete.
Great coverage.
That was intended for Lance Fisher, but it was just a little bit. It might have been behind him a little bit, just a little offline.
Well, Nazir English, the number 25, the corner, did a great job on that.
Well, out of Roxborough High School, he did a good job in coverage. So it forces a 2nd and 10. So obviously, maybe small in numbers, but pretty big in heart.
And that's kind of what I was saying earlier, that the first quarter or two will be even as long as they got the right energy. But we'll see if this wears down on them in the fourth quarter.
From a physical and a mental perspective.
Absolutely.
So from the 37, 2nd and 10, as Cabasa with that handoff to about the 36. Not much there. Good closing speed by the Panther defense. And that was Kyan Childress who played football for Keene University. Not much there. Forces 3rd and 9.
That was 21, Lon Buford on the tackle with a lot of support from number 50, Jerron Gould. Great job coming up and supporting the run.
And they're saying no gain, so it is 3rd and 10. Ball spot at the 37-yard line. What do you think Cabas is going to do on 3rd and long?
3rd and long here, I would hope that he would. The out is open. The skinny post is open. He's got that. If they're in that same coverage that they've been in with the 2 deep and nobody covering the slots. And they are.
Let's see what they do. 3rd and 10. Cabasa a low snap, but he handles it. Throws it right.
He threw it to
and
the out.
Incomplete. Oh, and a flag goes down.
I don't agree with that.
They went in the direction of Paul Initas, who I believe was tackled as the ball got there. So another tough mistake on the part of the Panthers, and it ends up being pass interference. That's going to be an automatic 1st down.
Yeah, they definitely got a break on that one. The Sharks. The corner was there. He didn't have to touch him like that.
Well, let's look at a replay and see what contact went along the near side.
Number 9, the slot receiver closer to us. He's the one doing the out route, which is what I thought he would run.
Tackled him high behind his head, it looked like.
Yeah, we couldn't get a good shot of it, but it was close enough for the referee to think it was. So that's all that matters.
That is correct. So 1st and 10 after the penalty from the 27. Here's a handoff. That's Ridley up the middle.
Patient.
He'll cross the 20-yard line, get to about the 19.
I love his patience on that. He's a patient runner. He lets his blocks develop and then makes a cut while he's still going forward. Great job.
The guy knows what he's doing. He's been around such a long time. He knows what the line's supposed to do.
Experience.
That's what it is. And now they're up-tempoing it on 2nd and what looks to be about 2. A drop snap, and Cabasa had to fall on it again. 2nd time already in this game, and that's going to be a big loss.
You've heard me say it before, and I'll say it again. It's the unexpected plays that keep games from going the way you want.
So now it ends up being a 7-yard loss, so almost back to the original line of scrimmage. The Sharks are now at the Panther 26 with a 3rd and 9 coming up.
So this will be a good test for the Panther secondary to see if they understand that Cabas, the quarterback, he usually goes to 9 or 20 in these situations. I want to see if they're aware of that and see if they can make a play on the ball.
Will they go to Ioannidis, or will they go to Fisher, or will they go to somebody else? We're going to find out right here. They spread here on 3rd and 9. From the 27 here is Cabasa. We're taking a shot. Oh, they have a wide open man, and he couldn't come down with it. And it was
20.
Fisher who couldn't reel it in, and he was open. There was a blown coverage. I don't know if he may have lost it in the lights possibly, but he just could not come down with it, and it's a huge break for the Panthers.
He definitely reminded me of Bobby Bonilla going back for a fly ball on that for back when he played for the Mets. When he was with the Pirates, he did much better actually. But on that play, that's a tough one there, Tom, because the receiver looked like he was running a post or a streak, and the quarterback threw it to his outside shoulder. The receiver was looking inside, and the ball went to his outside shoulder. And then he had to turn around, and he definitely lost it in the lights. I think he hit it. I think he hit it on the head on that one.
Well, even if he caught it, it would not have mattered because holding was the ball against the Sharks, but the Panthers have refused that penalty, and it's going to be looks like 4th and 10 now from the 26.
Smart. That was smart. I would agree.
And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we told you we're going to start with 4 officials. Now we have 5. I think we're not going to have any more than that, but we'll see.
I don't know about you, Tom, but I see a mismatch down here on the slot receiver. There's a small individual out there playing outside linebacker.
Here's Cabasa back. 4. Look, he's going to fire. Has a man. It's caught. Missed tackle, and he is going to be. Oh, he crashed into. Did he get it anyway? Yes, he did. Touchdown. Fisher comes through and makes up for the last play, and it's welcome to the end zone. Oh, boy, you talk about a thunderous hit at the goal line. Lance Fisher brings it in, a 26-yard touchdown reception from Emmanuel Cabasa. You had pointed out the mismatch, Rich. What happened? We're going to see a replay of this after the extra point.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see why the Panthers, they should know 20 is getting the ball in these situations. I told you, 20 or number 9. These are their go-to guys. Number 23 and the other receiver, number 6, who was out there, number 13 who was out there. They're just running routes all day. They're not catching many balls.
Let's also not forget you got Naquan Walker, who actually contributed the early part of this game. And although right now they've leaned heavy on Ioannidis as well as Fisher, I tell you, Panthers have not had an answer.
That was a great catch and run.
Here we go, the extra point, snap kick on its way. And he did not get it. It's wide to the left. And it looked like the Panthers might have jumped again, but no call. But still, a 12-0 lead for the Sharks. And let's show the replay of that Fisher touchdown again.
Yeah, this is Fisher up top. He's the X receiver at the top of the screen, and he's got man coverage on him with a high safety, and now they're going back zone. So actually they're in cover 4, and he comes down underneath, breaks the tackle, and lowers his shoulder. Keeps his balance and tips toes into the end zone.
I mean, he crashed into Jalen Sutton real hard there, but also that play happened because the defender slipped, which allowed Fisher to make that catch and turn, and away he went.
So I take it back. The Panthers were expecting him to get the ball because they had cover 4 when you have a guy deep, another guy deep again. But great job on the Sharks. They saw that coverage. He stopped. He did a comeback route underneath, caught the pass, and broke the tackle, or the guy slipped and made it to the end zone. That's just pure talent, and that's just pure desire on his part.
And you need to have that, especially in a game like this, and the Sharks have definitely shown that. With 2 touchdown passes by Cabasa, Fisher has had both catches, and this is where it's now 12-0 as the Panthers will receive the ball on the kickoff, assuming it is a regular kickoff.
Well, now they got a little bit of breathing room now before the half, and their defense got some rest there because they weren't on the field for that long. So this will be interesting to see how the Panthers respond again. If they can get a good return here by Banks or whoever I can't see the other kick returner. This will be interesting to see for field position.
All right, so let's see what happens here on the kickoff. Approaching the tee is Hetner. And he going up man here.
Small pooch kick to number 4.
Taken at about the 28-yard line. He's going to race to about the 40. He's going to get as far as the 45 and past the midfield stripe.
And that's Naeem Muhammad, number 4, Tom.
The man out of Olney, and I'll tell you what, he played like a veteran there. He just stayed along the line and just kept going forward. And what do you know? The Panthers are in plus territory to start their next drive.
That was shades of the Giants punt returner back in the day. Reals David Meggett. He was under 5 feet tall as well. And
Meggett, are you sure it's Meggett or Midget? I don't know.
I'm being kind. I'm not sure, but I know Meggett was the guy that I'm referring to.
Small guy. We'll say that.
Yeah.
And individually speaking.
But Naeem Muhammad did a great job on that play. This is where size mattered in a different way for him because they couldn't find him. He was ducking between the blocks and dodging everybody. He did a great job.
Well, there was also a procedure foul against the Sharks. That's a 5-yard penalty added on to the end of the return. So that's why the Panthers have the ball at the Shark 44-yard line.
So that breathing room gets a little smaller now, and all on their own mistakes.
Well, let's see if the Panthers can take advantage of this. From the 44, 1st and 10. Play fake and a fire, and just a little bit low, incomplete. They tried to run past option, and it didn't quite work. Blessing Harris, the intended receiver, just threw a little bit low.
Not a bad idea, but the execution just wasn't there. That was a RP slow.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, it clearly was a run pass option. I think it just developed too quickly, and I thought the quarterback was rushing the pass a little bit more accurate. That could be a big play.
Facts.
But anyway, it is 2nd and 10 from the 44-yard line. 12-0 to score. Sharks leading the Panthers. The quarterback again making sure everybody is in position.
Yeah, they're forcing the passing downs downtown.
Well, this time it's a run up the middle and getting through to about the 40-yard line. So a 4-yard pickup. And I believe that was 41 on that one, which happens to be John Harris. Now the Sharks could also show a little bit of a run blitz here. Can you extrapolate on that one?
Well, if the score wasn't 12-0, I would definitely look for a blitz, but they have to protect the pass right now. If they do send a blitz, though, it'll be up the middle. It won't be from the outside because these guys are in spread. It would have to be the Mike linebacker. That's the only way that they would able to get away with that. But for right now, up 12-0, getting near the half, they got to protect the pass. I'll be surprised if they blitz at all.
A big 3rd and 7 coming up for the Panthers at the Shark 41. Good snap. Has a little time. He's going to take a shot down the field as they have a man open. Oh, it is incomplete. And the quarterback threw it as far as the 2 officials on the side threw the flags inside the 10-yard line. They intended it for Harris, and flags went down, so it ends up, I'm thinking it's pass interference. So that'll be a 1st down for the Panthers, and they're getting closer to scoring range.
I think the coaches on the Panthers side, on the Sharks side, are questioning, was that ball catchable?
It could have been.
That ball was about 10 yards further than the receiver was.
Yeah, but was the contact well before the ball got there, too?
Well, they called pass interference, though. If they called contact, I would agree with you, but they called pass interference, and I don't agree with that. But I'm not the ref. It's their call. This is where we're at. And again, the Sharks' breathing room is getting smaller and smaller now. They have to protect this here.
Well, it ends up being a 33-yard penalty because spot foul, 1st and goal at the 8-yard line. So we're going to see what they do here. And keep in mind, Panthers have all 3 timeouts. Sharks have 2, just in case you were looking for a game reset here.
It's been interesting to see what the Panthers do here because they haven't been in the red zone all half. So this is where the defense from the Sharks can really step up and make a big play here because they've been playing well all game, actually. They had a couple penalties, have set them aside, of course.
All right, so here we go. 1st and goal from the 8. This time, quarterbacks between split backs are going with a tight formation here. Now they send a man in motion, and they're going to do a little bit of a reverse and the pass with a flag down, and it is caught in the end zone.
Interesting play.
How about that? That might have been That might have been Blessing Harris who caught that. But there are flags down, so let's check that out first before we proclaim it a goal.
If it's good, amen to Mr. Harris.
Saturday night school at J.P. Stevens High School. Well, the official, disregard. The goal counts, and the Panthers are on the board.
Absolutely. It's a blessing. And now they're down 12-6. That breathing room has gotten a little bit tighter now.
And we mentioned the Panthers needed to get some points on this drive to get back in this game, and they did exactly that.
Yeah, and that was an interesting call. That looked like a call that was set. That was definitely a red zone call because of the rollout with the option to pass or run.
Well, I think a lot of, shall we say, movement. Everyone goes one way, and the quarterback goes the other, and so is the receiver, and it worked out beautifully.
And he we'll see on the replay after this extra point, after this 2-point conversion. See how the tight end or the receiver, I mean, how he got open.
Well, the Panthers are going to go for 2 here. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot about the rules here in this league. Here's the handoff trying to go through, and it's Harris trying to get over, and he is thrown backward. So the conversion no good, and it ends up being 12-6. I forgot to mention, you kick the extra point, it's 2 points. If you run in or pass in the end zone on the conversions, that is a 1-point conversion. So it's flip mode from what we're used to in football. But here's the replay for that touchdown that Harris caught.
Let's see where Harris is up top on the right-hand side. He's the furthest receiver out. He's got man-to-man coverage, it looks like. It's interesting to see how he got free. So they're actually playing zone. Yeah. They actually.
And that was almost underthrown a little bit, too.
Yeah.
There were 2 things. One, it was almost underthrown. 2, the man in motion almost went forward before the snap, and that could have easily been called back, but instead it ends up being a 12-6 game, and that's how the Sharks.
So the corner thought he had safety help. That's why he was in zone. He was showing man, but he was actually in zone. He came up with the quarterback. He thought he had safety help, but the safety wasn't there.
Well, here's something to be a little safe on. The U.S. Army, of course, a proud sponsor of Jersey Sharks football. Of course, the U.S. Army and their mission is vital to the nation because they're the service capable of defeating enemy ground forces and indefinitely seizing and controlling those things as an adversary prizes most, its land, resources, and its population. So whether you're interested in the Army Reserve or active duty, there are many possibilities, so explore them today. Contact an Army recruiter. You can also visit online at goarmy.com. So now for the Sharks, as Rich is going into selfie mode here all of a sudden. A nice breezy evening here in Edison.
I'm smelling a little oregano out here.
Well, thankfully I had plain pizza for dinner, so I'm not worried about it too much. All right, so here's the kickoff, and a pretty decent one. One hop gets by everybody. Remember, it's a line ball, and it's going to be picked up at about the 7-yard line. Getting nearly tripped up. That was Blutcher, and Blutcher gets thrown down maybe about the 11-yard line.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happened with the coverage there for the Sharks.
Yeah, well, he wasn't expecting the bounce to go the way that way. You know, that's the problem with the pigskin, right? It's squeaky. It's you're unable to determine where it's going, and he got fooled on that one big time.
I think everybody did. Yeah. I guess nobody expected a bounce, and then realizing, this is a live ball, I better get to it. But I'll tell you, that near shoestring tackle prevented Blutcher from running a good amount of yards, but instead, he might have looked to reverse it, but just didn't get the help.
Well, good job by the Panthers staying in their lane, too, because sometimes people get misguided because the ball's moving it all over the place.
So it'll be 1st and 10. Sharks back at their own 11-yard line. They're deep in their own territory. You think Cabasa might air one out here?
That's a great question.
The answer is no, because it's a handoff, and the Panthers are weighing maybe about a 3-yard pickup to about the 14-yard line, and Ridley again with a carry.
Do we know how much time is left in the half?
Well, the officials know. I would have to say there's just a few minutes left in the first half because
they're going to be cautious down here. Then he's going to have to because he can't afford to have.
And I think there's also a signal for a 2-minute warning or maybe a 4-minute. We haven't seen it yet from the elite official.
Yeah. So good coaching would keep the ball to the veteran running back's hands, who's Walker, and keep the sticks moving as best you can.
Here's Cabasa back to pass. He'll throw left. That one is caught. Crossing the 20. That's a first down going to the 30 and down to the 31-yard line.
Yep.
And this time, Dwan Carr was able to come through, the guy from Neptune. He brings it in, and the Sharks move to 6 after a gain of about 17.
Safe throw, nice execution, good catch and run.
1st and 10 for the Sharks. Here's another handoff, and now get some gain, 35, 36-yard line.
Yeah.
And I think Ridley did it again, another 5-yard pickup. And
Ridley they trust. That's why they give him the ball down in these situations.
You're absolutely right. And I was kind of figuring, are they going to go up tempo? But now,
got a player down.
Oh yeah, we have a Panthers shaken up. Probably about the 43-yard line. I guess we'll take a moment and guess let you know about Jersey Sharks football. One of the key sponsors you'll see is Too Lit to Fit Nutrition, whose mission is to build confidence in nutrition. They strive to empower their customers to reach goals and lead healthy lives. And they take the latest nutrition science and the expertise of their team and distill it into educational resources and products. Check out Too Lit to Fit Nutrition. They're located at 215 Avenel Street in Avenel, New Jersey.
Well,
It looks like they helped the guy who was hurt
he's
off
back
the
on
field.
his feet. Excellent. Glad to see that.
And keep in mind, the Sharks trainer is also on the other side of the field. He's also assisting too, or she's also assisting.
Excellent.
So after a 5-yard gain for Ridley, it's 2nd and 5 from the 36. Kabasa lines up in a shotgun.
They might try to air this one out now, Tom. They got a little bit of room.
Well, we'll find out. Takes a snap, goes back. He will throw. Oh, and that nearly got intercepted. It might have been tipped.
I got to give the credit to the secondary on that one. They stayed in the zone. They stayed right in their responsibilities. The receivers tried to do a 10-yard crossing route between the slot receiver and the outside receiver closer to us, and there was no room for no one to go anywhere.
And to add your point, Rich, the Panthers have done a very good job defensively, at least staying in their lane, staying disciplined.
Yep.
And I think that's we've been caught by surprise as to how good they've done so far against the Sharks team.
Yeah.
Now, could the Sharks be playing down to their competition or the Panthers playing up? Which is which?
No, I think the penalties are keeping the Sharks from playing the way they want to play. I think the Panthers are playing okay. They're still giving up some big plays, but the penalties have kept them in the game.
Well, discipline also has something to do with it. Here's a pass that is caught past the midfield stripe and out to the 42-yard line. That's Carr again. Another first down. And even if there was, I didn't see any flags down, but if there were, it wouldn't have mattered because it would have been declined anyway.
Well, that time the penalties didn't hurt anybody because the play was a phenomenal play and catch and run by number 19.
And Carr getting all the way down to the 43 of the Panthers, so a gain of 21. What exactly happened here? Now keep your eye on the snap. That sets it up.
Yeah, so we got spread formation still. Yeah, they were all sides there, definitely. So he had a free play, and it worked out for him.
It definitely did. From the 42, 1st and 10, Kabasa back. He's going to throw one. Oh, that was a very, very dangerous play. That could have easily been unnecessary roughness. I think they went in Carr's direction again. He didn't catch it, but then he took a hit after the ball got by him.
Well, the problem on that play, he was looking for the pass, and the quarterback didn't throw it right away. So the running back looked upfield, and then the ball came. So when the running back looked for it, it wasn't there. So he gave up on it. But the quarterback threw the ball anyway because he thought he was going to be there. And we turned around, the defender was there instead.
Well, it's definitely possible. We've seen plays like this, and winds blowing 30 miles an hour. Ball goes backwards, ends up being a backward lateral. But it's 2nd and 10 from the 42. Here's Kabasa. There's another handoff. Oh, right there waiting, and minus a helmet are the Panthers' defensive front. Ridley was the one who carried it and gets flattened for a 1-yard loss.
Well, I saw a defensive adjustment there. They took number 70 out of the game because he hasn't been putting a lot of pressure on at all.
That would be Devon Porter
And they brought in number 68 instead, and he's the one that made the play.
Nasir Adams.
Nasir Adams, he was the backup. He came in he gave the number 70 a blow, and he did a great job. I have not seen any pressure or any force from number 70 all game. So good call by the coach to get number 68 in there.
All right, so it'll be 3rd and 11 with the ball at the 43-yard line. Kabasa in the shotgun. They spread out back to the right. He awaits a snap and a good one. Back, looking, gonna fire it, and it's caught. Another first down. It's a flag down, too, inside the 30 to the 29. But let's see what the penalty's all about.
A holding penalty looks like.
Yeah. And the Panthers think it's on the Sharks for holding.
So this goes back to your question earlier, Tom, about what's happening. Are they playing up or are they playing down? No, they're playing into the penalties. And this is slowing down their drive again.
And it cost them a first down there on that holding foul.
Yes, sir.
So
And the Panthers are delighted because they've only got 20 players. They're getting these breaks. They're getting the clock is stopping. They're getting the rest a little bit.
Did they by chance rule it incomplete because? Yeah, because for whatever reason there was a call for holding, and then they declined the penalty, which doesn't make any sense here. So the officials are going to move the ball at some point. Just a quick reminder while they discuss, of course, Jersey Sharks football presented by Team NJ Softball. You can stay on top of everything that is Team NJ Softball. Hey, join their newsletter to stay informed about all the latest news and updates at Team New Jersey Softball, and most importantly, the tournaments that you want. Call them toll-free for more info, 866-815-8600. They're located in Rumson, New Jersey. Of course, check their website out at teamnjsoftball.com. Now, I'll tell you one thing. I don't know what they're discussing on the field. I mean, there was a holding foul against the Sharks. So they're trying to discuss maybe the 10-yard penalty. Was it from the line or was it where the foul occurred?
You know, Tom, I'm not going to put any shade on this, but I don't see this happening in high school football. I don't see this sort of discussion and these outcomes taking this long and coming out this way. But, you know, this is semi-pro football. You know, it's a different brand of football, and even the officiating is a little bit different too. There's just no shade on them at all. They do an outstanding job for the most part. But this shouldn't be happening today. But it's here, and we'll keep playing the game. Obviously,
that's all you can do. It's a 10-yard penalty, so the Sharks really up against it. Let's see what plays they have in the book on 3rd and 21. Back in their own territory, their own 46, again, spreading out.
They got to be looking to play for 4 downs.
Back to the left of Cabasa. Let's see what they do. Let's see, the Panthers got to be disciplined here. Back to pass. Here's a throw, and it's through the hands and incomplete, but again, Cabasa was being pressured. Kind of was a little bit off guard with the intended receiver. And again, it's Unitas, who just couldn't come up with it.
And there was great coverage by the Panthers. They, you know, the Sharks are keeping them alive, and they're getting a breath between each penalty after every penalty, and they're able to adjust their defense for the particular situation. And this is the outcome so far.
And right now for the Sharks, I mean, they're wondering what just hit us here. We're approaching pretty much close to the end of the first half, and now the Panthers have a chance to tie before they go to a snack break here.
Agree with you. I agree with you.
I thought you were at a loss for words for a second.
I totally agree with you. I'm trying to refrain from saying absolutely again, Tom. That's why.
Well, you just did. All right, so it'll be 4th and long and punting time as they bring out Jacob Hettner. And they're taking a lot of time, and maybe too much time. I would have to think the Sharks called timeout because they really got lost as to having the right personnel on the field. So they're down to 1 timeout left. We'll keep it right here. But now that you have to ask yourself, if you're the Sharks, Rich,
yes,
what are you going to say to them in the huddle after this one?
They need to...
I mean, what would you think the coach will say at the half, depending on how this end of the half takes place?
Well, 2 things. They will say something in the huddle. They will try to defend this situation and not give another score to these Panthers. That's one. But at halftime, their goal is to clean up the penalties, get focused, stay on point with understanding that you are, in their eyes, they should feel that they're the better team, and they're letting these teams stay in the game. They have less players than us. They have more players playing 3-4 positions. Okay, we should be kicking their butts. So this is the time now for that coach to make them understand. Clean up your act, focus, treat the game like it's 0-0.
That I definitely agree with that. Here's a one-hopper, but Hettner able to get it away, and it'll go out of bounds.
That's not what they wanted.
I don't think so, but it went out about the 25-yard line, so that is where the Panthers will start 1st and 10. I mean, the way I'm looking at the Sharks right now, I'm really thinking a lot of them don't quite have their heads in the game, and they need to get themselves out to have a second half. I mean, that could be what it could be. I mean, we don't know.
That is definitely a fact, Tom, that could be a possibility. However, playoffs are around the corner, right?
They're not too far away,
and
that's
they
for sure.
and they might be looking ahead to looking right past this team. And the Panthers have nothing to lose here. Playing all out, do what they have to do. The Sharks have something to lose, right? And they're probably out of the playoffs. The Sharks need this to go smoothly, and because you want to go in with a momentum going into the playoffs.
And also for seeding, too, in the
Oh
playoffs as well. Let's
and
not forget
proceeding.
about that.
Yeah.
But anyway, Panthers 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line. They scored a touchdown in the last drive. They get it again, they'll have this game level.
Yeah, a long way
Back
to
to
go.
pass. Here's a one to the tight end. Caught about the 30 and takes like 2 or 3 people and a shot to the back down to the 31-yard line. And Kennedy was the one who put the hard hit, and maybe that gives the Sharks a little bit of extra juice.
Well, great catch this time. He heard the footsteps, but he didn't drop the ball this time.
They're going up tempo.
They are definitely going with the no huddle, and they might get a chance here.
Saku was the one with the catch. Here on 2nd and 4, back to pass, a little pressure, firing, tipped, and incomplete. Hey, Heath, that was a dangerous pass thrown to like triple coverage, and it was thrown a little bit high. Luckily, it was tipped. It went for Blessing Harris, but I think the blessing here was that the pass fell incomplete.
Yeah, it was interesting how the quarterback tried to extend the play, but the receiver was still running his route. So he didn't get a chance to see that the quarterback was trying to extend the play that way.
And I think they just signaled the 2-minute warning.
Oh, there's enough time here for sure. Definitely.
And don't forget, all 3 timeouts for the Panthers. Sharks have 1.
That definitely works in their favor. They just need to come up with some quick routes, with some quick throws, quick hits. And they might even want to pump fake one time and try to get them off and then hit them deep. Because they're too high, but they're also wide on. That middle's wide open still.
All right, so it'll be 3rd and 4 from the 31-yard line.
And they're bringing pressure now. Nope, they're not. Nope, they're backing off.
Not this time. Going back now, late pressure. Here's a pass. It is caught, and that's going to be a first down. He slipped, and I think it was Saku again, and he kept going even though he fell down after catching the ball.
Great individual effort, though.
That really is a good one. A gain of 9, and a lot of stumbling and bumbling and all that stuff. But it moves the chain to the Panthers in the first down.
I got to give it to the receiver there. A great individual effort to even get more yards after the slip.
Well, they're hurrying things up here, and they have to, especially knowing that the Sharks will get the ball to start the second half. 1st and 10 from the 40.
Good call.
They're going to hand it off, and it was a good call, but he kept running into people.
Yeah, good call, but better response.
Charles Faulkner was able to slam the door shut.
Sure did, because the hole was there. It was there for a hot second. And but great response by the Shark defense.
And now I think we're going to have a timeout by the Panthers. So why don't we go ahead and take a break here in the final minute or so here in the first half. It's a good one. Sharks over the Panthers 12-6. We'll be back in just a moment. While we're working on the timeout, we remind you that this game is being presented by Quality Bath, where you'll find the largest collection of premium brand name bath, hardware, kitchen, and lighting. And with over 25 years experience in the plumbing industry, Quality Bath has among the industry's most experienced and knowledgeable sales staff. Visit them at qualitybath.com or call them toll-free 800-554-3210. As we go back into action, 2nd and 11 to count for the Panthers. Ball at the 39-yard line. They're down 6. Looking to have a positive finish to end the first half.
Yeah, they're going to try to move the ball now. Get the ball downfield a little bit more. But
a near hole. Oh, look out. Trying to dage through a tackle, and then he throws it. No, that or is a fumble doesn't matter. I mean, that's a huge loss one way or the other, and he can't advance in the final 2 minutes anyway. So, and Kofor was able to sack strip him, and a huge loss back in the 25, 14 yards. I don't think that was what the Panthers had planned.
I almost felt, Tom, like he ran out of the pocket too quick. If he just stayed back in his drop, the receivers were making their move. I think he just ran out because he ran right into the defender. They didn't even have to chase him down. Like eventually, the guy was he just had to reach out and grab him.
He was able to sneak out of the first tackle, but then the second one, that was where he ended up losing the football. So why don't we take a look at the replay? I think the officials are going to discuss the spot of the ball because remember, at final 2 minutes of the half, he cannot advance a fumble. So let's see exactly what transpired and what pressure the Sharks finally gave.
Yeah, it looked like the receivers were definitely running mid to deep routes. If he would have just been a little more patient in the pocket, he may have had a chance. But we'll see. Yeah, see the guys. See, he runs right into him. This is my point. He could have rolled. He could have dropped back a little bit more and just dumped the ball off.
Yeah. He actually tried to hand it off to an offensive lineman, which would have been illegal touching anyway.
Yeah,
and it would have been intentional grounding too.
It's just too much. I just think he just gave up. Like he should have stepped up into the pocket rather than run into the defenders.
So they are going to spot the ball at the 25. They need to get to the midfield stripe to get a first down. So a 3rd and 25 coming up. Obviously, the pressure by the Sharks defense finally awakening and able to push the Panthers back for a major loss.
Yeah, if I'm the Panthers, I'm careful down here. I don't try to get too cute at this point now. You don't want to give the ball back with less than 2 minutes left.
He's going to throw one up the middle. It is caught. Do we believe this? A first down and a late flag that comes in after that.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Great throw. Great route.
Christian St. George out of Frankfurt High School with a tremendous catch on 3rd and 25 for 29 yards and possibly another 15 on top of that.
Where was that play all half? That was a fantastic call and execution of the play.
It is a major penalty.
See the face mask, or maybe he hit him in the head. Maybe he targeting.
Yeah, possible head-to-head combat and contact there, but nonetheless, talk about flipping the field in a hurry. That's 44 yards, 29 on the catch, 15 on the penalty, and it will be Panther ball first down at the 30. They're going to say the 31, actually, but what a play.
Did we get indication from the ref what the call was? No.
Well, it was definitely a personal foul regardless.
Yeah.
So, 1st and 10 for the 31. Panthers looking to tie this game before halftime.
This is interesting.
Back to pass, looking, thinking about going long. He's going to run instead. Crossing the 30. He's got to get out of bounds. He will the 25-yard line to stop the clock.
You think maybe he heard me?
Well, talk about getting by a sack. I mean, he ducked under one guy and away. I said, never mind, I'm running.
And he ran away from the defenders rather than to them. That was great. Great job. And he got out of bounds.
Well, that's the key, field awareness. Considering they've already used the timeout here. In fact, I mean, take a look. Take a look at the Sharks' defense. I mean, the offensive lineman's like, oh, my goodness, I'm not used to this.
Well, the defense is tired, too. Trust me.
Here's a hit. No, there's going to be a deep ball over and a near catch in the back of the end zone. We're not sure who it was in the back corner. It just went out of his hands.
Usually number 7, Blessing, I think, right?
Hard to tell, but it was incomplete. But it ends up being incomplete. But I'll tell you, their quarterback has found a way to find the open people, and it has almost worked on a number of occasions.
And he actually could have handed the ball off to there was nobody out here after the fake. Like, everybody was downfield. So either way, it could have been a successful run as well. But he had the receiver open. He just missed him.
And I believe the intended receiver might have been a Marsheed Henry. But anyway, 3rd and 3 from the 24-yard line, back to pass. And he's going to call his own number. And he gets, it's going to be a close call. He thinks he's got the first down. They're going to spot it at the 21-yard line. We'll see where the officials spot. They move the chains or not. Like I said, each team has one timeout left, so this is going to be critical here.
Got to give the Panthers credit with a short roster tonight. They are still playing hard. They are not giving up. They are trying to get in this end zone, go in the half, and tie the score up at least. That is great desire, and you got to give them credit for that.
I don't know if they called timeout, and the officials didn't say.
They did.
Yeah, they did call their last time out of the half. I'm interested to see the officials spotting the ball because it looks like, based upon that spot, he was a half-yard short. And now the chains don't know which way they're going right now.
No, the ref knows where the spot is. He should be fine. He just get them back where they need to be. But that was a timeout for another team. Because they wouldn't let the coach on the field that long if he didn't have a
wouldn't you ask for a measurement here? I mean, at this point of the first half, knowing you're only a couple plays away from halftime.
Yeah, and save the timeout. So they had to decide that they were going to measure. Right.
Oh, so this is an official timeout then. What they had to do is put the clip on the chain.
Well, you got great eyesight, Tom. I got to give you credit.
And it is a first down. So that was the reason for that. So the Panthers get the benefit of a first down. They still have one timeout. So it was just an official timeout and also an extra timeout for the Panthers to discuss what they're going to do.
Right, so they don't lose that one. So that's good for them. So they have a little time here still. They just have to stay focused because one mistake, they did get close to getting sacks on these last two passes. So we'll see what happens here.
In a game I did last night, that was exactly the same situation. One mistake completely flipped the game around. That was exactly the case. So the ball is spotted at the 21-yard line, and it is 1st and 10 for the Northeast Panthers here.
They got single coverage here on the weak side. On the weak side of the offense.
And a false start called against the Panthers.
What did I just say?
Wow.
I think I jinxed them.
It's possible, so that makes it 1st and 15. Talk about a killer penalty here. I mean, if you think about it, that could be a killer penalty, but at the same time, might give the receivers some room to execute their routes a little bit better, but we'll see. Now this time they're going to bunch the right side with receivers. 1st and 15 for the 26.
They're going backside. They have to. No, they're not.
And he's going to throw, and it end up being short. Incomplete. And I had a feeling it was like going to be disguised as a draw, and then they throw the football. But that wasn't the case.
Well, the case at all.
So now 2nd and 15, ball again at the 26-yard line. Now remember, the Panthers still have a timeout to use, and so do the Sharks. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Sharks use one to make sure the defense is properly lined up.
Yeah, I think that right now the Panthers have to figure out what's their best option. Who's their go-to receiver? Who's the guy that they can count on in this situation right now?
I don't think they've thrown to Saron Banks very often in the second quarter. I wouldn't be surprised if they throw a little surprise here.
Well, I think that last play, he was supposed to be the one running the post, and the ball just fell short. So we'll see here.
All right, 2nd and 15 from the 26. Again, they line up a triple on the far side here. Taking the snap, and the pass is tapped and intercepted.
Oh, there you go.
Do you believe that mistake? And clipped down about the 48-yard line. Oh, my, and then flags galore as some extracurricular activity takes place. James Bethea with the deflection and the interception. And there's also a Panther that might have been shaken up, too, at the end of the play at the 45.
Great individual play by number 12 for the defense. Great play by the quarterback to tackle the runner. But we do have a post-play penalty, I think.
Yeah, there was some extracurricular activity following the play. Let's look at the replay here. I mean, you talk about tremendous effort. Describe this. Now, I know he lines up on the outside. Now, watch what develops. Oh, it was
Ball
tipped.
tipped by number 10.
It was. I thought Amir Kofer was the one who tipped it, and the interception ended up going into the hands of James Bethea.
Great job there. And there was some after the play shenanigans going on.
And probably be offsetting penalties here. So they're still discussing.
I would say at this point, the refs should probably just call it half, get them into the locker room, let them settle down, and come back clean in the second half and get this ball rolling.
That would probably be the best case scenario here.
Yeah, we don't need no unnecessary issues right before the half. Somebody get hurt.
While the officials are discussing and also cleaning up all the yellow laundry that landed on the J.P. Stevens turf. And they're still discussing exactly where they're going to spot this. It just seems like we see this all the time.
Didn't we just say
football?
We just said there's one play, there's one mistake out here. It can happen. They're moving the ball. They had that great long, that was it, 3rd and like 20 yard completion for the first down. They were in striking distance, and there's that one mistake, man. It always happens.
That's all it takes.
Yeah.
And I think the officials are walking to the sideline. I'm not sure. I guess they're going walking to the Panther. They're going to speak with the Red Panther coach. And, I mean, it just seems like communication on both sides is like nobody's on the same page.
You know, it seems like they can take notes from high school, college, pro. There's ways to handle these things. But this is the level that we're at. We're semi-pro. And, you can only deal with what you have.
They could be talking for 10 minutes, and that could be considered halftime for all we know. But they haven't given any official instruction as to what they're going to do.
Well, I'm just waiting for the marching band to come out. I'm a little bit. I was hoping to get a halftime show.
I don't think we're going to see the J.P. Stevens Hawks marching unit out here for a halftime.
I was looking for the Sharks marching band. But
so they took a bite out of that ceremony. But I don't even know where we are right now. The officials, again, still discussing. One of the judges are speaking to the Red Panther head coach, and I think he's not really too happy about what is being said. Now, we do know about the interception. That was clear cut.
Right.
It's what happened right at the end of the play with all the skirmishing going on to 45-yard line. That is the question. And that is basically a matter of where do you spot the ball, and that's the bigger question here.
Yeah, I think they definitely called it for the half. I think we're at halftime now.
Well, they still haven't decided. I mean, it could be halftime now. It could be third time in 5 minutes. So, really don't know exactly what's going on. But an extremely long time out. The other thing is, I think both benches were sent to the respective sides. So that might be a hint right here.
I think we should probably hear from one of our sponsors, right? Maybe
Well, while we have a second, we'll remind you about Lombardi and Lombardi Attorneys. Of course, a proud sponsor of Jersey Sharks football. Just remember that when legal challenges present themselves, they can have a tremendous impact on your life, and the uncertainty and stress that you're understandably feeling can cause pervasive difficulties that can definitely change courses for you and so many others. So if you want to look into a free consultation, check out Lombardi and Lombardi Attorneys locally in Edison, 732-906-1500, located locally at 1862 Oak Tree Road in Edison. So, as we wait,
as the ball bounces,
slowly but surely. So, we kind of are waiting to find out what's going on. And we could be at halftime. We might just be killing time as it is. So, as we wait, Rich, what do you think the longest delay you've experienced in a game as far as a coach is concerned?
One that had nothing to do with lightning or the elements?
No, something like we're seeing right now.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen something like this. I can't go back that far, I'll tell you the truth. But I would say the longest I can remember was a was a high school game that I refed actually, and the issue was a contact lens.
A contact lens? I couldn't
Yeah.
see that come in a hurry.
That was the issue then, that we couldn't find. There were two players on one play, both lost their contact
Oh,
lenses.
for
And it
goodness
was right
sake.
before the half, actually, too. And it was like 5 minutes left, or 2 minutes left of the half. And we had a long delay.
We're still trying to find out what's going on. And needless to say, one of the sides of the Jersey Sharks starting to get real hype,
Yeah, they get
trying to
hype over
fire
there
the
now.
teams up here. Considering, remember, it's only a one-score game. Another crazy bounce. Remember, the Sharks get the ball to start the second half, and if that happens to them, the pendulum will shift again in favor of the Panthers.
Well, I can tell you, Tom, the viewers can't see this, but the Sharks bench is kind of falling apart a little bit. They're having some in-house issues right now, and that might affect them in the second half. That they're not seeing eye to eye. They're pointing they're pointing fingers at each other. Meanwhile, if you look over at the Panthers, they're sitting there relaxed, preparing and getting ready for the half. That's a sign that the second half might surprise some people.
I find it very interesting too. I mean, even if it is hype and there's disagreement, I mean, you got to do it away from the gridiron, because if you're doing it during the middle of a game, then there's a big problem. So we're still waiting on what the ruling is. I mean, it probably may not matter if it's the end of the first half. I would have to think that this would be the end. I mean, these officials wouldn't be discussing like the 50-yard line.
Yeah.
I've never seen this
Never seen
before,
it
to be
before,
quite
Nick.
honest
Never
with you.
seen it before.
And keep in mind, we began 45 minutes late. Okay, they did say it's finally halftime, although we never really got a signal. So after the longest delay for a halftime that we could imagine, the halftime score is the Jersey Sharks 12 and the Northeast Red Panthers 6. So the officials just decided not to not to signal us. So why don't we go ahead and go to Too Lit to Fit Nutrition real quick? And they just threw whistles, so I don't know what they're going to be doing next. We'll keep it here. And did somebody, I think somebody from one of the sidelines said there's 2 seconds left in the half. Well, you might as well play that and then just start the second half from there, because I think we've already had our 10-minute break.
We've had a 46-minute break prior to this. I definitely agree with you.
Oh, this is just unbelievable. So why don't we go ahead and take this quick break here?
Edison Heating and Cooling, New Jersey's comfort provider since 1987. With over 100 factory-trained service and installation personnel and a fleet of over 100 vehicles, we are able to service our customers faster and more effectively than our competitors. Our team of customer care professionals are always on call for an in-home consultation. If you and your family are in need of an installation or service completed by expert technicians, done professionally and efficiently, you need Edison Heating and Cooling. It's what we do.
My best advice to someone charged with a crime is to get a good attorney and not to say anything or do anything without first consulting with a good attorney. Our clients can expect a meeting at their home or in jail if necessary. We'll get investigators on your case immediately. We'll start the discourse with the prosecutors, and we'll try to get you the best representation that's available. At Lombardi & Lombardi, we have attorneys who were prosecutors. They know how prosecutors think and act, and they will be able to give you the insight to best represent you in defending criminal charges.
All right, we are back after probably the shortest halftime we have seen. I don't know about ever. We probably talked through most of it. But anyway.
It was all inclusive.
True. Anyway, I'm Tom Wilkins with Rich Harrigan and Howard Gaber taking care of the controls. About to start the second half, Jersey Sharks, a 12-6 lead over the Northeast Red Panthers, who have just kicked off to begin the second half and be taken at about the 12-yard line. Running to about the left to the near sideline, crossing the 30. He has some blockers to the 40. A very nice return.
That's your man Walker.
To the 42-yard line. That is where the Sharks will begin play, and maybe they'll be able to start something up.
Just like the first half, the opening kickoff, great return. This time by the Sharks, whereas the Panthers did it the first time. That was a great return by number 23 there. Mr. Walker.
That is correct. Naquan Walker. We saw him.
I was trying to get his first name. I had his last name. I couldn't remember his first name.
Well, the interesting thing here, Walker was used a lot in the opening drive for the Sharks, but we really didn't see him since then. But keeping him fresh on special teams, I mean, that's really the thing they needed to do. And now, let's see what Cabasa and company will do to get things moving here in the second half. And I think they might have called a procedural penalty, too, against the Panthers because they've moved it up to the 47, a 5-yard penalty added on to the end of that return.
Yeah, it's been a game riddled with penalties. We'll see how the second half plays out. Let's hope they do better.
Well, let's hope both teams do better when it comes to that. 1st and 10 as Cabasa India shotgun formation. And guess what? Another flag.
I think we jinxed him again.
And it's going to be, they got 12 in the huddle against the defense. So the Panthers, that's a 5-yard penalty. So already the Sharks find themselves in plus territory before they even know it.
Somebody didn't tell the other guy, hey, I'm going in for you in the second half. and they only have 20 guys.
So now 1st and 5 as the Sharks move over to the 48 of the Panthers. Cabasa with a high snap and a delayed handoff. They thought about an option, didn't work out, but he's able to get a little bit of positive yardage down to the 46-yard line. That could have nearly spelled disaster for the Sharks on multiple accounts.
Yeah, along with penalties, these snaps or these miscues hurt the Sharks' opportunity to make this game a little easier for themselves. They keep shooting themselves in the foot. They had a great job by the running back on that play to keep the ball, to keep the play alive, and to get some more yards out of it. He actually did pretty good on that one.
Well, it ends up being a yard pickup, 2 yards, 2nd and 3 from the 46-yard line. Line of gain to 43, and Cabasa again setting up in the shotgun like the team normally does. Back to the left. And a low snap. Cabasa has to hurry and fire, and it ends up being incomplete.
I like the poise of the quarterback, though. He didn't panic at all. He had a guy running down, breathing down his back, down his neck, and he got the ball off fine, and it was a very catchable ball actually.
Carr was
Supposed
the
to go out.
intended receiver.
Yeah.
So and to put things in perspective, if that doesn't happen, maybe you get a more accurate pass. But
True.
the whole thing, I mean, this has been a problem between center and a quarterback throughout this game. It's like the third time there's been a bumbled snap in some capacity. And that, in turn, has really not really thrown the Sharks a bit off their rails in this game.
Well, even on the pro level, when the Bengals lost to the Steelers, they had a backup long snapper in there that caused problems on the extra point that got blocked.
That's because their main one got hurt.
No, that's what I'm saying. So
weeks.
even on that level, so you can imagine down here, right? You can definitely see it here.
All right, here's the snap on 3rd and 3. Cabasa back. Let's see if he runs. He's being chased. He is going to run, and he will get a first down as he gets out of bounds at about the 41-yard line. You got to remember, too, this is a left-handed quarterback running to his right. You don't see much of a combination like that.
I was just going to say that, Tom. That excellent observation there. That this guy took off to his right. He still had the balls out. He didn't protect the ball. It looked like, and he lucky he didn't get hit. But great job by him to his instincts paid off that time.
And once again, the Sharks capitalize off the Panthers' penalties. That was key there. Ends up being a 5-yard pickup and a 1st and 10.
Well, they might have reverse of fortune this half because the Panthers were benefiting off their penalties in the first half. Now maybe it'll go in reverse this half.
It's kind of cut both ways.
Yeah.
So 1st and 10 for the 41 of the Panthers. Cabasa again, the shotgun.
We got
back
a single
to the
guy
right.
here. Yeah, single receiver here on this side. That slant's wide open.
Might have changed the play a little bit. We'll see. Cabasa waits, takes the snap, looking, there's your slant, and it's knocked down incomplete. Evidently, the defense heard you because that was knocked down pretty quickly, and that broke the slant up.
Well, 88 did his job. That's his job to do, right? Is to get up there. He looked like Cam Hayward out there from the Steelers, man, getting up there, putting his paws up in the air. Not bad at all.
Might have been Jihad McDonald who was the one who knocked that down.
Yeah, it sounds like a relative of Cam Hayward, I think.
Well, it's 2nd and 10 from the 41-yard line. The Panthers are not going to go away. I mean, the longer they hang around, the more of a possibility they could try and pull off a bit of a surprise here in Edison this evening.
Yeah, that play definitely, his height was an advantage to him on that one because the receiver was wide open.
All right, 2nd and 10 for the 41 of the Panthers. Cabasa and a shotgun back to the left this time. Play fake to Ridley, and they throw to Fisher. Fisher crossing the 35, move to the 30, to the 20. He stays in bounds. He's run to the Parkway. Welcome to the end zone.
That's how you respond.
Lance Fisher with the hat trick, his 3rd touchdown reception of the game, and the Sharks extend their lead.
This kid is phenomenal. Well,
At one point, Fisher led this league in receiving yards, and obviously this is going to help his case.
I'm not surprised. I would love to see the replay when we get a chance.
We will, and I'll say this much: he's got to be over 100 yards catching on the day.
So when we get to the replay, I'm going to tell you what I think what the adjustment was by the coach, and why it was so successful, because that was great on-field adjustment. When I get a chance to show you.
Well, again, usually halftime is a game of adjustments, and whoever adjusts better is the one that's usually going to win this game, especially when it was a one-score game like this.
But in this case, he made the adjustment on the field. That's what is even more spectacular about it.
Here's the extra point by Hetner heading through, and it is good. He gets it. A 2-point extra point to make the score 20-6 in favor of the Sharks.
That's right, 2 points. There you go.
Remember, you flip mode it. Regular 2-point conversions are 1 and 1 are 2. So what was the adjustment here,
The adjustment was this. Remember the last play, he tried to slant and it got knocked down. He came back with a quick screen, so you can't get it knocked down now. And now you got a blocker out in front of him. That was the adjustment. He came back with the same formation to the same receiver. But now, and then he did his dance all the way down the field, and good blocking and bad pursuit angles too.
And he was able to stay in bounds, which was the big thing there. God did Woody Dantzler tiptoe along the left side.
I just thought it was great that he said, you know what, bump the slant, just turn around, I'll throw it to you, and you do what you do. And that was a great adjustment there. Because now number 88 couldn't look like Cam Hayward and get his paws up in the air because he wasn't in the play.
And that was very critical, too. I mean, as you mentioned, a little bit of nuance in the play and how that part went worked absolutely perfect. And it ends up being a 41-yard touchdown reception. So for Fisher, he's had touchdown scores from, I believe, 40, 20, and 41, respectively.
Oof.
That's a good day at the office, for sure.
That's a great day at the office. Absolutely.
Well, we knew that was coming eventually. All right, so the Sharks will kick off in just a moment once the official sets the ball for play. So we here at the HSG Network want to send our thanks to all of our viewers staying with us. We know this game started about 45 minutes late, so we appreciate everyone hanging in with us. Very important. And on the run, on the return, and a nice trip of a tackle down at about the 42-yard line. And the tackle beautifully done by Markeith Jones out of Irvington High School. So the Panthers will start first down at the 42. So again, to all of our viewers here on HSG Network, we appreciate you hanging in with us. Remember, those of you with us for the first time, make sure you subscribe to HSG Network on YouTube. We've got a lot more events coming up, especially in the next couple of months. In fact, we are going to be on the next 5 Saturday nights. So that's something to check out. And a couple of Fridays, too. So worth watching. So please subscribe to HSG Network and tell your friends about it.
On that last play, I want to also give credit to the kick returner, Christian St. George, the number 2. He caught the ball on the fly, and he could have broke that. If he would have broke that shoestring tackle, he may have been in the end zone. Great effort by the young man.
I mean, he ran so fast. I mean, it would have been possible nobody would have been able to catch him. But good pursuit on the part of the special teams for the Sharks to prevent that from happening. So the Panthers now 1st and 10 from the 43-yard line. Their opening drive of the second half. Let's see what they do with it. Back to pass. Oh, he tried to get away, and then he flips one, and it's going to be caught down to about the 48-yard line. How about that? A very improvisational play by both quarterback and Saron Banks, who catches it for a 4-yard pickup.
Correction, that was actually number 6, Justin Hayes, actually.
Oh, is that?
Yeah, the 6 and 8 look almost identical, trust me. Yeah, 6. Yeah.
It was hard to tell because of the way the uniforms are designed, so it would be Sheriff Jones. Oh, if it is an 8, that would be Saron Banks.
It's 6 because he's a running back, and that's Justin Hayes.
It's 6 7/8.
Well, he's a running back, so that's why I said it was most likely him. Yeah.
All right, so 2nd and 5.
I ate my carrots today.
That's what's up, Doc. 2nd and 5 in the 48-yard line. Back the pass, throwing left, pass caught, trying to get around a tackler, cannot. A host of Shark swarm, maybe 2 to the midfield stripe, and that forces 3rd and 3. The catch that time made by the tight end Wangi Saku.
Yeah, that time they went right back to that hitch route that he ran earlier, but they're waiting for it this time. They were like bees around the honey. They just swarmed right to it. So, but I would come back with a play, with a pump fake on that and hit somebody and send one of the faster receivers deeper. Because right now they need to catch up because they're at 20-6. Sharks have the momentum right now, and the Panthers offense only did one great play all half. And so they're a little slow, but we'll see what happens.
Well, they need to convert this 3rd and 3 from the midfield stripe. Back to pass. A little bit more pressure. Here's a pass. And it's caught. How did he catch that ball? Went off the hands of a defender.
Number 48.
And into the hands of Marsheed Henry, who brings it down for a first down. I believe it went off the hands of Corey Jones for the Sharks. So talk about a crazy bounce that goes the way of the Panthers. That's what happened there, and it ends up being a 13-yard pickup. This is what receivers live for, concentrating moments to make unthinkable catches, such as what we just witnessed.
And you got to give the quarterback credit, because if I gave the Sharks quarterback credit for his poise, the poise that this young man had, the quarterback, was when the pressure was on him. Number 13 totally annihilated the offensive tackle. He was right in the quarterback's face.
So it is 1st and 10 from the 37 of the Sharks. A play fake here, rolling left, firing, and it's going to be a little bit short. Pass ends up going incomplete.
You got a
But
holding call.
we have a flag down, and it looks like it's in the area of holding at least at first thought. We'll see what the officials say.
Yeah, it looked like the right tackle, because I told you he got beat last time. He got totally pushed back into the quarterback's face. This time, he wasn't letting the guy get through this time, and he definitely held him.
So we'll see what the Sharks decide to do if that is the call. Will it be 1st and 20 or 2nd and 10? I mean, I would have to say make it 1st and 20 only because, I mean, 2nd and 10, you got 2 shots to get down the field. So they're going to force a 10-yard penalty, and it ends up being 1st and 20 now from the 47-yard line.
Listen, your offense is doing, your defense is doing pretty good, actually. Yeah, they gave up a couple of pass plays since the first half and now, but overall, you got this offense figured out. Make them go the distance. Make them go the distance. You're up by 2 scores. Keep them on the grass, out of the red zone.
So 1st and 20 from the 47-yard line, looking over the defensive alignment. Now back to pass, has a little time. Pressure coming from the right, and the pass, oh my goodness, it's caught at about the 25-yard line for a first down. And again, Marsheed Henry. We didn't hear from him at all in the first half, and here in this third quarter, he's made some exceptional catches.
And he's the one that laid out in the end zone early, and they just missed him. So you're right. So they went back to him now. But again, that's from that 2 high safeties. That middle of that field is wide open. That's why most of their successful pass plays, have been to that area.
And look how fast that quarterback is throwing to his receivers. That's another thing we haven't really picked up on. So now at the 25-yard line, here's another play fake. And this pass, I don't think anyone was looking there. Sheriff Jones was the intended receiver. He just didn't turn to see the ball, and that falls incomplete.
Yeah, the quarterback kind of rushed that one. Had he looked, he would have seen the short post by the outside receiver, by the number 1 receiver on this side. He was wide open, headed towards the middle of that zone.
So following the incompletion, marks 2nd and 10. Once again, Panthers driving. Last time they drove, they looked like they were going to try and tie the game at the end of the first half, but then a key deflection and interception
Unforeseen.
on the part. James Bethea with a catch to end the first half, and that knocked out the drive and ended the half, and then the Sharks scored to open the second half. Back to pass on 2nd and 10. Has time. Rolls left. He may call his own number. He does. And he can also run, too, to about the 20-yard line. Tackle that time by Brandon White. So Brandon White from East Orange was able to make the stop there, but it ends up being 3rd and 6.
Great job by the quarterback there. He tried his best to extend the play, flushed out the defense a little bit, and he got underneath them for a few yards. He made something out of nothing. So that was a great job.
That makes it 3rd and 6. The ball will be at the 21-yard line. And obviously this is going to be 4-down territory, knowing how the team is constructed.
Yeah, mentally, psychologically, and mentally, they need to get a score here because, again, they only have 20 players, and you're going to see the fatigue set in by the fourth quarter. If they're down by 2 scores, it's going to be hard to come back.
Well, put it this way, with also no kicker, that kind of explains a lot too. So 3rd and 6, back to pass, a pocket to play with, looking. Will he run again? He does. And he slides, and it was a hook slide, but I think he took the hook slide a little too early.
No, I think he didn't want to get his head chopped off, but that was definitely a good instinct by him. But he could have gone a little early. Actually, Tom, had he looked to the right, he had the whole right side to run if he had a chance. But peripheral vision.
Well, that's what it is. It only ends up in a yard gain, and now force 4th and 5. And I tell you right now, everyone's in the huddle except for one of the
44
for the linemen. I'm sorry, the offensive linemen, and it tells you. I mean, they're fighting hard to get back into this game, but I think at this point, you talk about fatigue, you talk about the cardiovascular stuff that goes with it. I think that may have a lot to do with it too, and I think in a way it's worked on both sides.
Well, Dwayne Hell has a big challenge with the defensive end on his side. Is putting a lot of pressure on him, and I can see why he's tired.
4th and 5 from the 20. Back to pass. They're bringing some pressure, sneaking through, and oh, good. And he got pulled down, well short of a first down. Bethea, the one with the tackle, the quarterback's uniform stretched out about 20 feet. And it's going to be a hold against the Panthers, which is going to end the drive because you know the Sharks are going to decline that and get the ball back.
Yeah, again, 44 for the Panthers. Dwayne Hill from West Catholic Prep, his fatigue did not definitely show on that play because he could not take care of the defender, and that caused the quarterback to get too much pressure too soon, and he had to take off. Otherwise, he had two receivers open down here, one at the mid-range and one deep in the end zone, and he would have been able to probably get the ball there, but he had to take off, and that's where you get the fatigue. That's where you have less numbers. This is where it plays a part now because probably doesn't have a backup, and the backup is probably just as tired as he is.
Well, the big question here is, could height also be a factor here in trying to see where his receivers are?
I think that's the problem for both teams, actually, because they both don't have very tall quarterbacks. And there's a lot of tall offensive linemen and defensive linemen out there. So they got to see over the trees. It's been a little difficult, which is why you've probably seen them either throwing the ball outside, or if he's not getting pressure, he can find the middle.
Well, for the Sharks, they get the ball on downs as the ball is spotted at the 19-yard line. They hold the Panthers at bay, and with a 20-6 lead, let's see what they decide to do. They're going to try and put the coup de grace on this one. But remember, we still have a full quarter to go, and we've seen some pretty strange things in this game, so one just doesn't know.
One of my favorite shows.
All right, here's Kabaz on a high snap, as I was talking about. And he's going to throw off his back foot, has a completion, goes to about the 30-yard line. A lot of room to roam. And now he reverses gears after a missed tackle. He could be going Fisher 40 to midfield. He may outrace everybody to the 30-yard line. Now he runs some more to the 20. He may take it all the way. The 10, the 5. You've got to be kidding me. Oh, my goodness.
Like we said, stranger things have happened. You hit the nail on the head, Tom.
Lance Fisher welcomes himself into the end zone for a fourth time, and that one was 81 yards and probably ran about 11 miles on the Garden State Parkway.
Yeah, we talked about that closed the coffin right there. I think that takes you out mentally, physically, psychologically, everything.
So, but hey, what if they run back? What if they run back a touchdown the ensuing kickoff?
Well, you got to find the guy on the bench who hasn't been in yet because they're all tired. This is why they couldn't make the tackle on that.
I mean, this was an absolutely incredible an incredible individual effort on the part of Fisher, who has accounted for all but 2 of the points for the Sharks today.
Right, and but again, it's supported by the fact that those 11 guys who were just chasing them were just on the field on the 40-yard drive prior, and they just didn't have it. They didn't have the wheels. And great job by number 20 again.
All right, here's Hedner for the extra point. The snap. Oops. And somebody, I think, jumped before the start. Oh, it's a false start, it looks like. So they're going to back up the extra point now to being a 38-yard extra point. But, I mean, I've seen some incredible individual efforts, and Fisher's is probably one of the top ones.
He's having a hell of a night tonight. He's doing great. His motor just goes. And but he's not playing 3 ways. He's playing 1 way, and he's fresh out there. And he's got a nose for the end zone, and it shows. So good for him. Excellent for his team. That breathing room has exploded now. And now the Panthers just have to hope that they can put something on the board, make something happen, and keep this thing going.
As they say, 1 play at a time. All right, Hedner for the extra point, this time from 38 yards. It's a low-line drive, but it's going to be good.
Excellent.
It snuck around the left pole, and the 2-point extra point makes it a 28-6 Sharks lead over the Panthers. I hope we have enough tape to see all the running on the part of Lance Fisher.
What was great about the play, Tom, was that it was a short pass, and then he took it off from there. Let's take a look at it.
Yeah, let's take a look. And I mean, GPS systems are going to be completely confused by the route that was run here.
And I thought for sure they were going to the outside receiver here. He was wide open as well, but the quarterback was looking right the whole time.
But keep your eye on Cabasa and how he threw it.
Right.
A high snap, and then watch.
Wow, off the back foot too, just dumped it off like it was almost like it was a screen pass. And then the rest is an individual effort and a bunch of tired Panthers doing their best. Great blocking by the Sharks and not giving up. They're probably used to this because they know that this is what this guy does. This is what number 20 does. So they're used to this.
And Fisher's like, I'm pooped. And he just fell like that's really a sensational effort on the part of Fisher. And I can guarantee you that he's going to be an integral part for the Sharks in the playoffs that begin next week.
I would hope that whoever his opponents are, hope they're watching this film. I hope they figure it out.
Oh, you know they will.
They better figure it out. Because he's a game breaker.
He definitely was there. All right, so with the count now 28-6, we'll see what the Panthers have. I mean, they have played very admirably in this game. We'll see what they have left. They could surprise us with a couple more bits.
Yeah, I mean, let's go back to what we mentioned earlier, Tom, that we both agreed that, the first two quarters, they were going to be in it, but fatigue might set in the third and fourth quarter. So,
well, the ball's taking about the 10-yard line, trying to make a run, crossing the 20.
This guy's fast.
Well, there's a flag down, too, so
see.
it's probably going to come back for a hold or an illegal block.
And those are fatigue flags. Those are what we call fatigue flags, too.
And I'd never really heard that term before, but it's understandable, especially when it's like you're grabbing onto anything, and then that's when the ref throws the flag. And they're actually disregarding the flag.
Yeah.
So they will spot the ball at about the 32-yard line. So that will be where the Panthers will start 1st and 10. Unless the officials has something else in mind.
Stranger things have happened.
And just think about this. Halloween's only, 6 weeks away?
Oh, that's right.
We keep saying stranger things can happen. I mean, I feel like the spooks are coming here all of a sudden. Well, they're actually going to spot the ball at the 24-yard line.
Well, there was a flag.
So I'm thinking the foul probably occurred, I guess, at 34. I mean, I'm not sure, but one never knows. That the officials know better than we do, so.
But it makes sense that it was probably at the 34, and they moved it back 10 yards. That's all.
So in the end, not really a bad start in field position for the Panthers, as they have 1st and 10 from the 24-yard line.
Yeah, they have quite a journey to go now.
Well, let's see. They're going to hand this off.
Great call. Good call.
A good run there to about the 28-yard line. And once again,
those receivers are tired. They got to slow it down a little bit. Let the running back get the ball. Move the chains a little slowly.
Well, John Harris is the one who carried it. Yep. And now there's a shark down about the 30-yard line.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes you wonder if maybe cramps might be setting in possibly. And considering it is on the second half of September now, I mean, fall's only 5 days away.
I got another interesting possibility. All those guys leading the charge for number 20 down the field and their last touchdown, I think some of those guys are tired. Those guys are playing. Now those guys are back in again.
It could be. Oh, yeah, it is James Bethea who was the...
he plays both ways, Bethea, see? I'm not far off.
Well, and he is, and in all seriousness, having a little issue trying to put both feet up, and he's not able to do it for one of his legs, and that could be a significant injury going forward.
It's good to see his teammates helping him out there, and hopefully he'll be okay, and he can get ready for the playoffs if he gets cleared.
I mean, you could consider it. I mean, you might look at that as a potential high ankle sprain, and those are very difficult.
Potential, definitely. Yeah, potentially.
We'll see. But it is 2nd and 6 on the 28-yard line. We'll see what the quarterback does here as he takes a good snap. Play fake, and a pass is intercepted! And the Sharks run it back, and there you go, in a pick six. Welcome to the end zone. This time, It is Kate Naismith.
Interesting.
It was tipped, and there was Naismith there, and he just took it in and said, I'll do the rest.
Well, when you're up 20,
Well, make that 34-6 now.
no, so when you're up 28-6, right? Play action isn't going to bother you. You're not worried about the run. You're hoping they run the ball because you're protecting the pass. So they sat back. They didn't even blink on the play action.
And they knew they weren't going to be doing any more running because, I mean,
Right.
you want to come back in the game, you have to do the chunk plays through the pass and make sure they all work. And
Right.
this one just didn't work for them, and Naismith was able to take it home.
Well, they probably should have ran it on that play just one more time.
Now, even though it's the second half, was this really to be expected? I mean, we don't know.
Well, going into the half or at half, I didn't think the Sharks were looking like a team that was together. They were feuding, they were fighting, they were arguing, they were blaming each other. I didn't think they were going to come out with this kind of energy. So I give them credit. And I thought the Panthers got the rest they needed at halftime, and would put a better foot forward.
They got more rest than the officials did. Considering most of halftime they were talking all midfield. So
I was going to go there, but it sounds better coming from you.
I'm only saying. All right, so Hetner will try the extra 2 points and try and make this a 30-point lead for the Sharks. I mean, the Sharks have really come out like a house of fire in the second half and showed their dominance.
Well, this is great special teams practice too.
The snap, kick on its way, and he got it.
Yeah.
Well, so remember, it was 12-6 at one point, and I think we have hit three-quarter time with a 36-6 lead for the Sharks over the Panthers. I guess, why don't we go break here, and we'll come back for the final quarter right after this.
My darling.
Well, I guess I'm more dumbfounded by what we've witnessed here. But anyway, we're about to start the final quarter here at J.P. Stevens High School here in Edison, here on HSG Network. League of All League action. Jersey Sharks now with a 36-6 lead over the Northeast Philly Red Panthers. And another onside kick.
They're taking it to them.
And they recover.
They're taking it to them.
Akil Ali this time was the one who recovered it. So the Sharks get it back. So they score a touchdown on defense and get the ball back on offense. That you don't see very often.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised there, but this is football, and it's time to work on some things, and they're working on it.
Well, that might be one of those things, but now I would see a very heavy dose of running. Now, I don't expect Ridley to be back in the game, but I expect some of the other running backs to maybe get some time. So, and ironically enough, Fisher is still in the game. He's got 4 touchdowns. He'd like to get his 5th.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one time. I don't understand why you got your starting running backs in there anymore. That makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. This is still football at the end of the day, and you want to get your reserves some reps. You're going into the playoffs. You don't want your starters getting unnecessarily hurt in a game that you have full control over.
And keep in mind, before that interception in pick 6, James Bethea was hobbling off the field. So, and hopefully he'll be okay. He's actually on the training board getting his left ankle checked out or taped. So hopefully he'll be okay for next week. But in the meantime, Cabasa back here, 1st and 10 from their own 49-yard line between split backs.
Yeah, they're going to run the ball here.
They do, and Ridley's in there, and he'll get himself about 3 to the 48-yard line. But the important thing now is that the clock, remember, official time kept on the field, it just runs. And they want to get down to 0, and they get to come home with a win.
Well, you got to remember that Howard's got to get home for supper, so it
might be a midnight snack at this point.
So right now they've got their brown package in, which they have 2 backs in the shotgun, and they've got a run formation. They've got the second unit receivers in as well. I can't see the number here close to us, so they're going to be trying to run the ball now. 81 is closest to us, so he's just got in for the first time as well. So.
That's Quincy Good. He'll get some opportunity here. 2nd and 7 from the 48-yard line. Cabasa gets the snap, and again a handoff to Ridley, and Ridley has a hole, and he'll cross to about the 42. He's a yard shy of a first down. So what do you think has been the biggest difference of the Sharks and how they adjusted here in the second half? First half, they were all over the place. Second half, a lot more cohesion. They realized, let's get the work. And not only that, less penalties, too.
Well, you've hit the nail on the head again, Tom. Great job. That they definitely have been penalized less. But what they have also done is they've changed some of their passing routes. They were going to the hitch and the skinny post earlier. Now they went to some more outs and some underneath stuff, but differently formatted for different plays. So now they got the lead. Now they can run the ball. So they're in great position.
3rd and a yard from the 42-yard line, and they're gonna blow the play dead. And here's the funny part: the play was blown dead, so it's gonna be a encroachment foul against the Panthers. So it would have been Carr if they didn't blow the play dead. He would have caught it, and then he would have run it home. So that was the break there for the Panthers. They didn't allow another touchdown pass.
Well, Carr is very lucky also because the cornerback was going to level him, but he killed off. So, but anyway, penalty, first down. They continue to move the chains and stay in full command of this game as we're now in the 4th quarter.
Yes, we are, and the ball be spotted at the 37-yard line. Sharks now just going to the line. Cabasa always operates from the shotgun. The difference is whether it's 1 back or 2 backs next to him. You very rarely see an empty gun from him.
They're probably going to run this way now. Yep.
This time they run to the right, and it'll be taken to about the 33, and that's where this progress will be stopped. That's Kayan Childress out of Keene University who had to run. Probably about 4-yard pickup. So, and now it looks like we have a Panther player that was shaken up, but
I think he heard you, Howard.
and it's possible he may have a cramp. Yeah, and that was Chris Allen out of Abington High School. He was the person shaken up, trying to get back to the sideline. It looks like he may have cramped up a little bit.
Yeah, for our viewers, Howard was just hoping that the young man was okay. He was saying he hopes he can get up, and the guy got right up.
Well, you don't want to stay down, that is for sure.
And Howard has healing powers, for those who don't know out there.
I'd like to see them. So 2nd and 6. Well, it might be a 2x4, but that might be about another story.
I got your back. Don't worry.
Anyway, 2nd and 6 from the 33-yard line. Cabasa again between split backs. This is another running play. Trying to get around is Ridley, and Ridley will get to about the 30. He's about 3 yards shy of a first down, but it's a 3rd and a manageable 3.
Yeah, the refs missed a big holding penalty there. The right tackle corralled the defensive end by the neck and turned him around, but the referee missed it. So
Well, I don't know, but you gotta understand. Sometimes it's a matter of when you call it and when not to call it.
yeah,
And in a game that's 30 points right now, you'd have to figure probably just let it go because we kind of know what's going on. But hey, there's still time left.
or he just didn't see it.
That's also possible.
Yeah.
So 3rd and 3 from the 30-yard line.
All right.
Kabasa again, shotgun.
This is
This is going to be a pass. And
Nice
throw
short.
left, pass is
Nice.
caught. That's a first down. That's Carr. He'll get to about the 20, and that's probably about it. But another first down. They will give him the 21, so a 9-yard pickup.
nice safe pass. The receiver did a great job of staying in bounds. He was going to run out of bounds. He said, no, turning back around. Stayed in bounds. Keep the clock running. He wants to get home to supper, too.
So 1st and 10 as the Sharks are at the Panther 21. By the way, I would have to say Lance Fisher's day is done. He's on the sideline, and
Great game.
needless to say, I mean, no matter how this turns out, he's definitely the MVP of this game, considering his 4 touchdowns.
Every time I've watched him, he's been the MVP of the game, so he's done a great job.
And like I said, for the Sharks as they advance into the playoffs, they're going to need him. They really are going to need him. So 1st and 10 from the 21-yard line. Wouldn't be surprised to go back to the run here. Let's see what Kabasa does against split backs.
Should be running to the left now.
They do, and it's Ridley. Ridley with a hole to the 15 and around the 10. Probably going to be a first down. Yep, they're going to give him the 11, so it will be first down. As a matter of fact, they're going to give him the 10, so it's going to be goal to go after a gain of 11.
So this Brown package that I mentioned earlier, not everybody uses that terminology, but that's how I know
And
it.
I've actually never heard of that
Yeah.
before, so if you can re-explain
Right,
what this is
so-
all about and a difference to other packages.
Right. So it's color coded. Right. So it's color coded brown and blue, and that's left back, right back, and it's that way because they make it easier for the running backs to know what their responsibility is. That's all. That's why they make it very, very simple, brown and blue color, and
There's a pass knocked down, incomplete.
but the key to it, Tom, they use 2 colors that with the same letter, so it's double. And that's what the B, blue and brown package. That's why you call it blue or brown, because it's 2 Bs. That means double backs in the backfield. That's all.
Why don't they call it a black package? There be too many B's in this case?
Some people might. Some people might call it a black and brown. Some people might call it a black and blue. But the most common one is called brown or blue.
Very interesting.
Yep.
So while we have a second, what is the blue package?
Well, blue is going to be left, brown is going to be right. That's all.
So it's more directional
Right,
than
all
anything
directions.
else.
Yep.
All right, so hey guys,
There you go.
interesting. I mean, blue is left, brown is right, and I'm still in a Technicolor mode. 2nd and goal from the 10-yard line as Kabasa again split backs here. Another run. And this is Ridley trying to push his way. He gets about the 5, but he is not going to get any further than that.
I think really they might be trying to play for a bonus. Is there some bonuses here? You get some good stats. You get some bonus money.
You know, it is possible. But Ridley was able to get to about the 4, so 3rd and goal from there. And right as far as the Sharks go, obviously you mentioned less penalties and a lot more crisper with their offense, and that's definitely going to help. Because, I mean, you have to remember, sometimes looking ahead gets you in trouble. We saw that in the first half. But then when you straighten it out, it all comes pretty much relative.
But again, let's not forget the fatigue and the less energy on the Panthers has benefited the Sharks big time.
Why they change it. Here's Kabasa back to pass, looking, finally getting hit. And it's a catch.
Wow.
And it's a goal. And it's Carr, who finally gets one in the back of the end zone.
Excellent patience by the quarterback. Not great pursuit by the defense.
Well, anyway, Dwan Carr is the one who caught the ball, the one out of Neptune. He was able to bring that in, and more points for the Sharks. So they will definitely get the conversion involved. But, I mean, it looked like for a second that Kabasa was going to get flattened.
And that was worrying me, and that's why I don't understand why he's in there. But, because that could have been a play that he could have really got hurt on an unnecessary that had no bearing on the game anymore.
But keep in mind, of course, coaches have reasons why these players are still in. And it's possible Kabasa, knowing how many years of experience he's had, maybe he doesn't want to come out. Maybe he wants to work on something. Here's the 2-point extra point, and the kick is way wide to the left. So it ends up being 42-6, and the Panthers will get the ball once again. We will keep it here, but let's quickly go ahead and run down the sponsors one more time. Of course, Jersey Sharks football presented by Edison Township Police, Edison Heating and Cooling, Lombardi and Lombardi Attorneys, Team NJ Softball, Quality Bath, U.S. Army, and Too Lit to Fit Nutrition out of Avenel, New Jersey. So for the Sharks, I think Lou Morris got to be pretty happy with the way his team has played in the second half. So what is the next step now? Once this game ends, what will be the next step for them going forward?
For the Sharks?
Yes.
Well, now they just need to rest up. They need to rest up and get as many healthy players as they can for the playoffs game, because it's one and done, right? After that. So, but they need to go back to the drawing board and understand.
I have never heard of double elimination tournaments in football, but
I don't think I have either. So I was just reminding that why they needed to rest up and get their healthiest players, because you only got one shot at this thing. And that's when you're in the playoffs. If you lose, you go home. So the bottom line is what they need to work on, though. They need to work on not being penalized so much. They had a lot of penalties that kept the Panthers in this game. If the Panthers had their full roster, I think this game would have been a totally different situation if the penalties stayed the way they were for the Sharks.
And it might have also been a harder climb for the Sharks if the Panthers didn't commit as many penalties as they did. Because let's keep in mind the first half, they've also had a few jumps as well.
Yeah.
So you have to also take that into consideration. But when you have to do a job and you do it, that's where it goes. And this time, they're going to go with a directional kick, and it's brought down at the 48-yard line. I don't know why they tried that kick again, but still, the Panthers were able to recover it, and the ball is spotted at the 48. So I have a shot to get some points on the board and finish this hopefully on a positive note.
Yeah, I'm convinced that the Sharks are trying to get some special teams practice in with the onside kick.
Which is possible. You have to consider that. I mean, for the Panthers, I believe it is their final game of the year.
I think they're trying to get some time
I think they also understand what the opponent's trying to do. They're not. I mean, there are a few that would think, they're trying to rub it in our face, but that's not necessarily the case.
I don't think they're trying to do that. I think they just are using the time to get this onside kick practice in, because it's hard to get it in during the weeks when guys are working their regular jobs and have their lives on, and very few teams practice kicking, and you probably don't have a big turnout at practice every practice. You don't have a full roster or full so they're getting it in now. So this is so I get it.
With what we've seen in today's game, will we expect one for the first Sharks playoff game at some point?
Depends on who the opponent is.
Well, that's also true as well. I mean, I'm not trying to be Andy Reid and trying to kick off with an onside kick to start the game.
Right.
But you're also trying to do, okay, let's work on these things, and you bring good reasonings as to why.
Well, I say it depends on the opponent, because if the opponent has a great offense and the Sharks are not successful in the onside kick, you're giving them a short field to start the game off.
There's a fumble by the quarterback who tried to run and juke a tackle, but he ends up falling and losing the football. It ends up being recovered by the Panthers and a 2-yard gain. Turns out it was John Harris who fell on the football. So it's 2nd and 8.
John there, yeah. So as I was saying before, depends on who their opponent is. If their opponent is a weaker team, let's say, that made the playoffs, doesn't have a strong offense, you might do onside kick. because you know that your defense can probably hold up half the field. But if you have a strong offense and you don't get that onside kick, you're giving them half the field. I'm not starting the game off with an onside kick.
Yeah, you usually do not.
Right.
But, of course, you got the weird, odd circumstances that they change up from the norm, as they say.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, 2nd and 8.
And this is still semi-pro football. Remember, anything can go.
Yeah, that is very true. Anyway, it looked like a hand. They went Wildcat that time, and the Sharks were ready for that too. I think they decided to give Nashaj Cates a chance at that one, unless that was Daryl Kennedy who was the one that made the stop. So it ends up being a 2-yard loss. So it is back to being 3rd and 10. So, but anyway, we'll say for the Panthers, I mean, they're trying a couple different things now to try and finish things off and maybe catch the Sharks off guard.
Yeah.
But
well, the Sharks still have their starting corners out there. It's a lot of moxie, man. I don't know if I would put my guys in that situation, but right now you're up 42-6. Even if they do score a touchdown, so what?
All right, so 3rd and 10 from the 48-yard line. Waiting on the shotgun. And and the 3 receivers set all went downfield before the ball got snapped.
Yeah, I think they definitely don't want Howard making it home for supper tonight. They're going to steal his dessert. Matter of fact, they were going to steal his dessert.
Going to be a midnight snack at this point.
Yeah.
So following the 5-yard penalty for a false start, that makes it a 3rd and 15. And sometimes you're going to have things like this happen.
Yeah.
But in any case, what do you think the turning point of this game was?
Ooh, great question. Great question, Tom. The turning point was that onside kick. To open the second
Which
half.
one?
The very first one. That was the turning point of the game because that showed you already the mindset of the Sharks was they're going to do what they can to keep their defense off the field and keep that and give number 20 an opportunity to burn the opponent. They were looking to get him the ball every drive in the first half, which is why he had how many touchdowns?
Well,
4.
Considering that Fisher has 4, Cabas thrown 5 touchdown passes in this game, 4 of them to Fisher.
So that's my point. That they were looking. This game plan was to feed Fisher, to use his speed, get him out there, get a jump start, and that's where the onside kick came in the first half. Even though they didn't score on that onside kick, but that was their mindset. To me, that's a turning point to me because that's your mindset the whole game.
Well, here's my other thing to counter that. I believe the turning point was the final play of the first half. That tip ball on the part of Kofor and intercepted by Bethea. As a quarterback going back and firing and caught at about the 40 down to the 38-yard line. Close. Oh, was 4th down? Kind of lost the downs right there.
Yeah, I didn't see it either. But the Panthers, man, you got to give them credit. They're still hanging in there, man. They're still driving down. The guys are tired, but they're hanging in there, and they're trying to keep this drive alive right now. They have not given up. But going back to what you said earlier, yeah, you're right. That was probably the better turning point because that was a big play that kept them out of the end zone.
I think it also changed momentum for good.
Yeah.
And then when the Sharks scored in the very first drive, they meant business the rest of the way.
Yeah.
Oh, they're going to give him the first down, so it ends up being a big pass play down to the 38 of the Sharks. So for the Panthers, they end up getting the first down to benefit of the spot. So a couple more plays for them before we're out of here. By the way, the quarterback for the Panthers is Blessing Harris. He's going to be quarterbacking, probably wildcatting here.
He's been doing a little bit of everything today.
Yeah, well, he's under a rush here, and it's going to try and run this one. He does, 35, and then gets yanked down by the back of his shirt down to about the 31-yard line for a gain of 7. And brought down by LeDrew Hurt Jr., not far away here from Somerville High School. So it's Andrew Hurt. Oh, Lee Andrew hurt. I
Tom, don't
I'm
worry
going
about
by
it.
what it's written on the list.
Listen, our list has not been helpful tonight. So, but I appreciate Howard letting us know.
All right, 2nd and 3 from the 31 as Harris. He'll wait to snap, takes it. Now he's going to rush. Throws off his back foot. Pass. It's juggled and incomplete. That looked like it was going to be a catch. That could have been tipped and caught by another receiver or even intercepted. We've had a lot of those in this game today.
I think that's it.
I thought, and the officials, I think I saw the official signal. He's taking the ball, and yep, that is it. So the game is officially over, and the Sharks are winners over the Northeast Philly Red Panthers, 42-6 here at J.P. Stevens High School in Addison. Rich, your final thoughts?
I just think that the Sharks came out looking for blood right away, and they came out with that mindset: we're going to score quickly and put points on the board and get a big lead on you, and use your fatigue against you. And that's what they did.
And that's exactly what happened. Sharks played a much better second half, and thus the end result, scoring the final 30 points of this game. All right, so we will wrap it up here for Madison, and what a nice game this was, and the Sharks coming through as they lead up into their playoff spot. So, for Rich Harrigan and Howard Gaber, I'm Tom Wilkins. Your final score here from J.P. Stevens High School: the Jersey Sharks 42 and the Northeast Philly Red Panthers 6. Thanks for joining us for the League of All Leagues here on HSG Network.